Well, hello and welcome. It's Trucking Answers, the live show. It's Monday at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time. It's beautiful, 37 degrees and sunny, no snow in the forecast here. Unfortunately, can't say that for everybody. That 110-year sentence that driver got, big protests about that. Kind of agree with that, right? JCT gives a holiday bonus, but is it enough money? I don't think so. No ordinance, no boot in Georgia. The Supreme Court rules, and that's that. Florida is going to give $3.1 million to get some new drivers because, heck, there aren't enough drivers. Of course, this is for B and C class CDLs. Yeah, C. It's 3 days to Festivus. Stocks of fuel and crypto news, of course, as always, as we roll on into the day here at Trucking Answers. What's everybody doing out there? Hope it's going good for you. Steel Horse was first the other day, and today, Joan Harper first today. Congratulations. First on my list today. What's going on? Trucker Hershey's going to get loaded, unloaded, and then go home. Loaded and unloaded. So thanks for being here. Let's see. Creature 937 Garage Door Openers here. Hello there. John Emmel is here. It's good to see you. Grafton, hello. Mark Ely is here. All right. Stan Dodge, what's going on? You made it to the show. I appreciate it. Flat Highway, there's a snowman at the manhole. That's just a dude that doesn't go outside a lot. So watch out for that carrot. Kelly Patterson is here. What's going on? Wimpy McPoatman with a million excuses. It's the day to be here. Hello, Million Milers here. Yeah, Cash is King Trucking. What's happening out there? Hope you get home for the holidays. A grumpy trucker, if you want to, right? Checking in from CRST headquarters. What's going on there? Are you insider? Can you give us some insider news? Stan Dodge, the Coast Gracie, voted for the eye holes only today. She voted for the eyes closed today. She is sound asleep. Boy, she's had a rough morning of eating breakfast. John Zablack, what's going on? It's good to see you. So, let's see. Columbia George, greetings, drivers. What's happening? I'll be out, Kelly Patterson, I'll be out over the road on Christmas. I'll be home for New Year's Day. A bunch of classic fireworks to set off and blow up the Oregon coast. All right. Hey, if you want to be out, I guess. Some companies get bonuses for being out over the holidays, that kind of thing. That's kind of what the JCT thing is. John Zablack, time for my Wiener break, isn't it? It's always time for that break. My company is asking a team run to Chicago to Dallas for $27.50. Are you going to do it? That's the question. Are you going to do it? I'm out of that. 3-inch mortar shells will go 300 feet nearly. Wow. Well, Happy New Year for that. From you can almost see Alaska from there, so that's going to be something. I'm heading home, but we'll stay out for an awesome paying load. Okay. If you're in, you're in. The other Truckers Coach, Tom Hay, here. It's good to see you. Happy Roller Pancake Monday. Yeah, do they have those? That'd be something. A rolled up pancake. Oh, I'm in. Dave Johnson, hello. My wiener just got boosted by one of those mortar shells it would. That's for sure. Turbo, what's happening? Hey, what's going on? E. Summers, good afternoon. You Hard Cryptoverse. Happy Roller Wiener Monday. It is time. It's time to get the show on the road. What's good about it? Hey, any day you wake up is a good day, right? There's always somebody that would change places with you. Stuck in traffic south of Corbin, heading northbound on 75. What, are they backed up at the bridge? I don't exactly remember where Corbin is. 110 years for the guy. Yeah, but nobody else got any time in that. I think the company's responsible for that, and so is the government. This guy can't speak English. What's he doing with a license? Okay, why isn't the government in on this? That's the problem. We let all these things slide, and then something happens, and they're like, oh, that person's the one in trouble. I don't know about that. Rick, I'm sick today. Hopefully not you know what. We can't almost not say here anymore. Well, Blue headed up to Salt Lake City. Roger Penske. Really? What are you going to do up there? Wow. Salt Lake City. Plus, there's a big storm coming over there. You get the heck out of there. You're not going to like that, Brother Mike. Matt ESO from the Little Guys show sadly passed away. Really? I don't know who that is, but that's too bad. Anytime somebody dies, especially this time of year, but any time of year. So that's unfortunate. When are you going to get me that welcome to town bottle of whiskey? Well, I'm working on it. Macon, Georgia here. JF Trucker, all right. At least it's not snowing there. Day Cab Gear Jammer, good morning. It's good to see you. With I-70 verdict, shouldn't people be looking at carriers for not having the experienced trainers? Yes, Joe, we should be looking to the carrier. I think that any employer should be responsible to put a person to do a job that can do the job they're asking you to do. It's up to them to ensure you can do that job, whatever it is. It doesn't matter what the employer is, right? So if I call an electrician company, and I say I got my lights are out or whatever, and they send a plumber over, do I have to still pay them? They go, well, I don't know, the guy's over there, that's not, no. See, no, that's their fault. We would all say, well, no, the company shouldn't do that. Well, the company shouldn't do that here. Company shouldn't do that here. Canadian Tanker Yanker, hello, Mark, hello there. To all end users, don't forget end users. Greetings from Tarrenton, Idaho. Alexandra, what's going on in Tarrenton, Idaho today? And get the heck out of there. All you on the West Coast, there's a big storm coming. So if you're all up in the Northwest, West Coast, on the west side, you better get to the east side because not going to be great over there. I was unable to return to our yard within my hours. Last Friday, I had to wait 2 hours for a taxi to take me to the hotel. Should I log that 2 hours on duty? Not if you had time off after that. So let's see. So you had time off, right? You could have probably gone in the sleeper that time. I wouldn't. So you're just waiting for a ride where you're going to get time off. So because you're not waiting, if you were waiting for a ride, because this is the same thing if you're waiting in your truck to get picked up. As long as they're giving you time off after that time where you can get a break, then that time can be counted as time off. Hello from the state of Georgia, Jesse. All right, hello. Do you have any info for companies hiring in Florida? I'm planning a move to the state. Well, the governor wants people to get their licenses down there. I'll tell you, there are some places that will hire you there, larger places. I know DOT's got a big, they have a thing down there, right? DOT will hire you out of Florida for sure. So you can always call them. They run out of there. GP Transco runs out of Florida. I think there are some, there's other places in the area, so you can always get to with them. There's some, not everybody though. Hey Mark, heading towards Georgia. Why is everybody going to Georgia today? Is there something I'm missing here? You've been gone. Yeah, Alexander, wonder what happened to you. Have you been sick? Hopefully we didn't get any sick with what's going around here. We just had a driver out with that. So no, I'm not good at team. Okay, but it looks like my $1,800 a week guarantee got a raise to $2,000 guarantee. Really? When did they do that? It's not just for the holidays or permanent. We'll know next year. Yeah, okay, let me know. I'll change the cards. So yeah, absolutely, if they do that. $2,000 guarantee. Isn't that something? Never thought I'd see that. Carol Fulmer in Florida. All right, Carol Fulmer will hire out of Florida. Alexander, it's 5 degrees here and clear. Not well, at least. I don't mind the cold. I don't mind how cold it gets as long as it's clear out. Calm before the storm is the real thing up here. Yeah, get your potatoes or whatever they're giving you up there and leave. Head this way. Loaded with beans in my trailer that are strapped down and headed towards Atlanta. Wow, that must take forever. Do you know how many beans would fit in the trailer? Oh, beams. Wait a minute. Beans. I thought beans. How do you strap each individual bean as its own tiny strap? Wow. Hope you're staying warm. No doubt at 5. Run the truck or APU it. I'd APU it at 5 degrees. I know my first year I could have been this I-70 guy. Right. No CB. Never driven the mountains during training, young and dumb. But other drivers helped me down once I saw smoke from your brakes. Exactly. But this driver, even though, look, he shouldn't be driving. He can't speak English, so he doesn't qualify for the CDL. He's never been out of Texas, according to the report. So it's up to the company to send you somewhere. And my wife and I had an interesting conversation about this. And she said, look, this guy should ask questions and, look at stuff. But my point is, how do you know what to ask if you don't know what is ahead of you? I can't ask about things that I don't even know about, that no one's ever told me. And she said, well, they teach you in truck school or whatever. But in fact, in my truck school, they did not teach you any of that. It was in Chicago. And all we did is go up and down the service road most of the time. And we weren't taught any of that. So if I don't know what I'm facing, how do I know what to ask about, what I'm missing? You have to know something to ask a question. So I don't think so. I'm with the people that want the guy out. 110 is way long on this when he's not completely at fault for this. Now, people died, so certainly has to pay for that. But I don't think this is not a murder when he went out and said, I'm going to kill a bunch of people. I don't think. This is somebody who doesn't know what they're doing. And it's partly the government and partly his company. And they're not going to hold any kind of liability for that. And I think that's wrong, other than maybe monetary for the company. I don't think it's right. I just don't. Alexander, today's T-shirt and jeans type of day. It's not the cold that gets you, it's the wind. T-shirt and jeans at 5 degrees? No, I busted out the coat a few weeks ago. So I'm back to coats, at least long sleeves. I'll go with the jeans, but I don't know about T-shirts at 5 degrees. That's chilly. Hello from Alabama. I'm one of the iPhone podcast listeners. Chicken Holler. Appreciate that. Yeah. Podcast goes out Tuesday, Friday for those that would like to sign up for it on their favorite podcasting app. And I noted that majority of the listeners are on iPhones, even though the majority of people in the United States are on Android phones. I don't know why I find that interesting. Maybe drivers because they get paid more than the average person in America have iPhones, because the average iPhone user is better off. I don't know why. Maybe they last longer, so drivers keep them longer. I don't know. I thought it was pretty interesting, though. So I appreciate that for listening. There'll be a new one tomorrow. So hopefully a good one. You never know. Sometimes you get stinkers in there. Got to throw a stinker in there once in a while. So I do what I could do. And I lost my spot, too. So anyone getting Omicron? No, I'm still, like, I saw a meme for this. I saw my Delta, all my Delta stuff up. I can't keep up with them yet. They're trying to invent a new one until you comply. So I moved again, and I've been busy with my new work account. Same company, different account. Oh, all right. Oh, so are you not living here? Are you not a Hoosier? I'm heading for Georgia to reload and head home for Florida. All right. Good. So far, all brokers have said no my bids to move loads today. I guess this shortage is real. Really? Sorry, we don't need your truck. Another paid holiday at GP Transco, best company on the planet, rolling in dough. All right, another paid holiday coming up. Most people, I would say, usually get paid for Christmas, I hope. I'm going to say majority of companies pay Christmas. We get Christmas as a paid holiday, even though it's on a Saturday. We'll still get that as a paid holiday, which is nice. So you get a longer check this week. My cousin got a log violation, and maybe a big one. When he went on home time, he would put in sleeper berth instead of off-duty flat highway. Why would he do that? And why wouldn't your company notice that unless he owns his own truck? Once you turn your log in and you have 50 hours into sleeper, why doesn't the company go, hey, what's going on here? By the way, he can go and he can change that. He can edit that log. I don't know how far back. We'll see if Fleet Nav Systems comes on, where we can ask them today. I don't know how far back you can edit, but you can edit that. You can edit everything but drive time, so he could actually go and edit that log. Around the right lane, why do Billy Big Riggers in the middle lane draw even but not pass? I know. People will come up and then they just sit there. And so I'm just on cruise control, and they can make it all the way to your truck and then can't pass you. Get going. You bought all those lights. That's what I always think about these drivers. You got all those lights turned on. Turn some of them off and put the power on the ground there. Bird, a cold wind, no doubt. Always get some kind of coat that cuts through the wind. Columbia, Georgia, I drive a day cab. Sweet. Just happened last... Oh, all right, so yeah, you could do that off then. Just happened last week. Noticed it on my check, but I don't mind grade paying equipment at Smith Transport. Yeah, they should. I will tell you, I'd notify you of that so that you could be ready for it. So, because you might not notice. Some people have no idea. They don't even look at their check or whatever. So I would have told you. I certainly would have told you. If they make it permanent, let me know. Or if it's just you just getting it. Dave in Oklahoma says keep on trucking. All right. That's what everybody says. Let's keep on trucking all the way through the holiday, unless you want to go home. Hey, Mark, how old are you and when do you plan to retire? IDI Ford V8. I'm in my extreme upper 30s. All right. And retirement, hey, you never know. Could be, with the way companies go, could be any time. So, but I have a pretty good gig. So I only work about between 7.5, 8.5 hours a day. Depends how long I wait, generally. Sometimes we stretch it to 9 hours, unless there's some kind of problem. So that's not the kind of thing I want to leave, really. That's just like a regular job. So I think you can do that as long as they'll have me, which each day I'm surprised I actually get to go in some days. So only doing delivery, then back to LA, and then back to Phoenix. 115 is always gorgeous. I-15 is always a gorgeous run from Vegas to Salt Lake City. It is, except in the snow. So yeah, get that up there and go back to the warmth. That's not bad to get out of where you've been going, though. That driver said he was out of gear going down the mountain. You mean, a million miler, that he's saving fuel going down the mountain. I think that's what you mean. He's being environmental. Because that's just a waste of fuel. They will give a bonus only if you are retired. A bonus for what? Where do I work? Truck Hershey. The good thing is I don't get to ask that very often, which is good. You know, I try to keep them out of my videos. People that don't know, we do this every Monday at 12:30 p.m. Eastern time so far. Been for 3 years or so, 3.5 years. And I just try to keep the company out of the videos. Just keeps it cleaner that way. They can't tell me what to say. I also don't recruit for them. Although, I guess if you like your place, go ahead and recruit for it. But I don't want them dictating what I get to say. It's bad enough. No English speakers are making it tough out here. I agree, right? MVT ought to close, basically, because I can't find any drivers that speak English there. And then this driver in this accident had to have an interpreter. That's not acceptable. I'm with Church Transport, who's out of Birmingham, Alabama, and I live in Florida. Well, okay, all right, so there's something that'll get you there. 2 Swift transports to credit in Phoenix. They did take us up and down Interstate 17. Good. Yeah, they're there anyways. They should, and somebody in the truck ought to teach you what to do. And they shouldn't send people through the mountains that don't know what they're doing, because look what happens. People can die, and it should be the company should pay some kind of price for that. It can't just be this driver. Although I would also revoke a CDL for life. Probably had engine brakes on, couldn't get in gear. It shouldn't be out of gear, of course. No downshifting. Although, I don't know if that truck was an automatic or not anymore. Regarding the driver just sentenced, John M., you say company officials should also be held accountable. What about government officials who gave a non-English person a license? Absolutely, right? The government, too, skates on this. He shouldn't have had a license to begin with. So the government and the company, the government usually has some kind of immunity, which is unfortunate. The company also shouldn't send people that don't know what they're doing. It's all the way down the list where this could have been stopped, and the one that pays is the one that doesn't know what they're doing. And it's almost not even their fault because they don't know what they're facing. So if they don't know what they're doing and you send somebody out that doesn't know what they're doing, the company should have some kind of liability in that. Certainly. My new company agreed. I'm too weak for flatbed. Knew I was a wimp, but still cried, waiting for van assignment. Really? You're too. What did you not pass the test or something like that? Do you have to lift? I know some flatbed companies have a pretty tough physical test because it's a lot of work. Okay, I don't know if I could do it anymore. I mean, it's a lot of work. So some of those lumber tarps are super heavy. We got to have flatbeds and stuff lift us up, but they probably don't let you do that stuff anymore. So, Paul Harris, I learned to drive in Florida. My team partner was a native Floridian. Our first winter out, we teamed together. I'm originally from Boston. Kind of knew how to drive in the snow, but not in a semi. Hey, so we're both going to learn together. Hey, welcome. I-70 has some 8% grades. There's big grades, right? So people should know what they're doing before they go up there. And if companies knew they were going to face liability, they'd be way bigger about training people and only sending the trained to go do jobs. If I call an electrician here and the company sends somebody that burns my house down and we find out later they weren't trained, the company knew they didn't have a license or they weren't qualified to come and do the job, just because they had a license, the company goes, oh, well, this person's not even qualified. They can't even read, and so they got their license. The company would face liability. That shouldn't be any different here. Good afternoon, Mark and Trucking Answers fans. Keep on trucking, keep the rubber slapping the asphalt, always, unless it starts separating. No more CDL for non-English speakers. There should never have been a CDL for a non-English speaker. Certainly, that's part of the law. iPhones are trash. And look, I'm an Android user, but I'm happy anybody listens, even get some BlackBerry listeners on there. There actually is just a sliver of the pie chart that comes up for BlackBerry. So there's still people running a BlackBerry and listening to podcasts on it. Yes. The DOT will train you. Yeah, just let the DOT train you. They actually have some videos now. Colorado's put some videos about mountain driving out, although you'd have to go find them yourself, and you wouldn't know what the problem is unless somebody told you about them, but they have a couple videos out. Roger Penske, I'm in shorts and a t-shirt and Pleasant 70 between 52 and 55. Yeah, at 55, maybe. I don't know about 70C. That'd be kind of warm weather, but being a t-shirt, I'd be pretty sweaty. Will there be a naked man in his parents' basement, a metal folding chair with the light on and string? I love the reason why Mark isn't yet. That's Mars. Well, on the podcast, I try to have another reason each week that we're not on Mars. There seem to be plenty. And it's usually some dude who lives in a cinder block basement, and all he gets is a metal folding chair and a card table. And sometimes it's warm and the dude's naked and needs some food. iPhone to the devil's minions. So says Louis Rossman. Who's Louis Rossman? If folks think I-70 is rough, stay off the Idaho State Route 36. Don't even like taking it. The problem is people don't get trained to drive in mountains. That's true. They don't. Alexander Wright. These state roads have way bigger grades. The interstate is regulated as to its grade. I think 8% is the max. It's 7 or 8%. They can't make any new ones that have a grade that are stronger or more than that, But state roads in that had bigger, way bigger grades. If I was the hammer, I'd be thinking about moving to Colorado. Believe me, there's probably a Colorado hammer. There's already one out there, his brother, the Colorado Hammer. The Denver Nugget. Oh, that's pretty good, right? We were told when we graduated, you're not a truck driver yet. You need to train with Schneider or JB Hunt. George Wilson, that's great. You need to train with Schneider first. They're all right, though. They told us that. Look, we are just here to get you your license. That's it. You will get your training later. I hear Pillsbury's hiring on that. It says you'll be rolling in dough. Oh, very good. Very good. Extra puns today. Mark, I've worked now for a contractor that's new. I've been driving for 35 years. Excellent driving records. Any suggestions for him to find local freight? I don't know. I wouldn't know how to find the freight. He would have to call, I guess, places that need freight moved. I mean, I don't know. I assume you just call places and say, do you need freight moved? I have authority to move freight, that kind of thing. I did some investigation on Mint Mobile, Joe. That's funny. I was looking up Mint Mobile today. That's funny. Not sure if the network would be good for over the road, but a route like yours, I think it would be a good deal. But it's a prepaid phone. Yeah, but you can bring your own phone. My phones are paid for. So, yeah, I actually was looking it up. That's funny. I was looking up Mint Mobile today because they have a deal right now through Christmas, or through the holidays, it actually says. Buy 3 months, get 3 months free. So 6 months, $150 on the plan that I was looking at for 6 months of phone service. And I thought, that's a pretty good deal. That Ryan Reynolds guy's got us going on. Alexander, people should be required to learn in those conditions and be able to show they could perform under such circumstances. Yeah, I mean, mountain driving, this is not, going up and down some service road. There should be some extra training. The company should be responsible for that. You send somebody to Colorado, they've never been out of Texas. They don't know English, basically, where he needs a translator. And then they're like, oh, I wonder why this guy crashed, Rossman drives an e-bike. Rossman. On Samsara, once certified, the driver cannot edit it, but the office can. Office can do it at least back 30 days, Trucker Hershey. Oh, I wonder if that's it. I'll have to ask, once you certified, can you not go back and edit a certified log? Interesting. Maybe you can't, but it still could be done because they're not editing drive time. So I'm surprised the company, though, if you're turning in a log to a company that's got all this sleeper bird time, they should notify and go, hey, is this really, were you in the sleeper the whole weekend? Did you not get out of bed? Coach's Twist and Mud Flap Service. Merry Christmas to all you hardworking truck drivers. We appreciate it. And where did I list my little spot? Oh, we were trained to be a local carted short-haul drayage drivers. We weren't trained in anything at truck school. Only been driving 5 months. He drives for USA Truck. Oh, all right. I don't know who that is. It's me, the guy who has anime bunny girls on his dashboard. All right, look. Hey, it's your truck. Put whatever you like up there, right? I hate when people slow down on on-ramps. Get going. You have a car. Get out there. If it was an automatic, there would be no way for him to get out of the gear. There's no in-between gears unless you put it in neutral. Well, it's a safe fuel. I mean, there's something to that. What do you think Greta Thunberg would think about that? I have winter items for a bargain. Only if you walk by the guy. If you don't, unless you're not walking over there, his voice doesn't carry very far. Did you notice that? Central Freight Line said they were working with other companies to try to get all the employees a job. Well, congratulations. They locked all the employees out. Some people went back in because they said we're going to deliver freight this week. And now they said, no, thank you. You can't come back to work here. By the way, just today I noted the first lawsuit filed against Central Freight Lines. For what? Warrant violations. Class action lawsuit filed. Drivers are due 60 days of pay. We'll see if that gets any traction. But we have the first lawsuit is filed. That took about a week. Not bad. Probably all paperwork. That Colorado driver got all that time because he took it to trial and lost. I'm sure they were offering him 10 to 20 years. Yeah, everything is always plead. And he didn't think he'd get that much time. I'm surprised. And we'll see what happens. A petition, the judge doesn't have to change their mind on a petition, so we'll see what happens. The governor can. That's what they're trying to do, is have the governor commute the sentence or even get him out of it. So we'll see what they do. Alex, good afternoon, buddy. Greetings from Chattanooga. I'm on my way to Houston, Pennsylvania. I wish it was Houston, Texas. Yeah. Well, it looks like right now, though, unless you're way far east, that should be okay, too. Houston would be better. Talkie Bite, do they still teach in truck schools that you go down a grade one gear lower than he went up? I don't know what they do now. They told us you'll learn all that later. You'll learn all that stuff later. You couldn't pass your flatbed physical test in your 30s? I don't know. 30s get pretty rough. Those lumber tarps were heavy years ago. So I don't know. I like the curtain side trailer. I like that one way better. That's my kind of flatbedding. Hear about Schneider's new mirror pilot program? Yeah, some Schneiders, I believe, if this is what we're talking about, are on an exemption where they're going to get interior mirrors, right? It's going to be just little cameras outside, and the mirrors will be inside the truck. Will be a screen for the outside mirrors. I don't know. It is Dave Johnson. It's always a dude. It's always a dude. It's hard to find women doing stupid things. That's why it's amazing that they even talk to us, because we're so dumb, and we do so many stupid things that that it's unbelievable. And yet some of them still speak with us. So that's pretty nice. Roger Penske, with any trade job, always look for the union label. I agree, you should look for the union label. And Kellogg's, right? Now they have bargained, and it looks like the Kellogg's people are going to go back to work, so we can begin to purchase Kellogg's cereal again. If they don't think that it doesn't matter, oh, this doesn't make any difference. Kellogg's took all their Kellogg's labels off of some of their products, if you notice that lately, so that when you go purchase them at the store, you don't know what Kellogg's is. Very true story. Look around for it. I think we're focusing too much on not speaking English. As a South Floridian, I know mainly Spanish-speaking people that could professionally drive circles around some of these super truckers, the anime trucker, maybe. But the requirement to get the license is he speak English. So whether it's right that he speaks, personally, I think everybody that lives here should speak English. I would expect if I moved to another country that didn't speak English, that I would learn the language. Not that everybody would kowtow to me, but that I would melt into the melting pot of that country and learn the local language. Regardless of that, since it's not the law here, it is the law if you get your CDL that he speaks English. So that's part of it. So just that fact makes him not qualified to get the license. He may be able to drive circles around people, but he can't get the license legally. That's what I'm focusing on that. If we would have stopped him right there, where we say you can't have a license, he wouldn't have killed those people. So the government needs to be in some blame for that. And there's no reason to live in the United States without speaking English. Okay, this certainly. How do you live your life? The truck should do some time too. Yeah, why are we letting the truck off? The truck is the real reason for everything. Without the truck, none of this would have happened. Okay, I think we can all agree to that. So if we take trucks off the road, we solve the truck accident issue problem. Now the liability suits start with that truck accident, a trucking company and manufacturer, even the transmission. The wheel companies, oh my gosh. We get everybody in on it. Well, that's what lawyers do though. They just get everybody in and see where the liability, what the judge says. Jeff Ravello, I recently got my CDL and a 2-year medical card. Nice. But I'm waiting for my SPE certificate because I wear a prosthetic leg on the left side. Huh. The DOT said it'll take 4 to 6 weeks. If you got your medical card, what do you need beyond that? Isn't all that part of getting a medical certificate? I don't know what they did. I knew a guy that had one arm, but I never really asked him what happened with that or how he did that on the medical. He used to drive, though. I'm sure that the young man spoke remedial English. Here at the Korean Mafia, we have Mexicans that barely speak English, but they're quite competent to drive. Again, they may be competent to drive, which I think is great. Do they speak enough English to pass the test? You know, that's the question. They have to be able to converse in English, you know, with a DOT officer to understand. Could he read a freight bill in English? That's the law. So what I'm saying is he could have been stopped from getting his license at that point if he couldn't pass the test just in straight English. So therefore, he would not have been driving. It is the law. It's currently the law. And everybody that lives in the United States should speak English. Louis Rossman is a YouTuber that fixes electronics. iPhone 13 is the only able to be repaired by Apple now due to software that won't let people change screens. It's okay. Well, you know, they have that right to repair law, which I certainly agree with. You should be able to repair your products anywhere. You shouldn't have to go back to the manufacturer to get them repaired. So hopefully he's on that program too. Whereas the ATA on the CDL driver needs to speak English. They would they probably say people should have to pass whatever test is available. I don't think they've really said anything about it, but you know, they want just qualified, highly qualified drivers or whatever. So I don't know what they would say about that. Trademarking Minnesota Hammer just got to pass the bar, the Cash Esquire. Oh, right. Cash is King Trucking. Right. EQ. we can put after your name. Money first, safety last. That's every place, right? That's always the thing of it. They always want you to be safe until freight needs to be delivered. 7 degrees C, another reason to hate Apple. Is it 7C? Oh, okay, right. 7C is better. I thought 70C, that would be, super warm. 170 degrees or whatever, so that's pretty warm. And freedom units. Schneider will train 2 new CDL drivers over the road at the same time for a while, 1 week. I never have seen that, though. Nobody's got a picture of this. Trainer sticks their nose in the phone and glances up occasionally. Oh, doing good. Right, I'm back to finding Pokemons. Greetings, sir, from Atlantic City, Hunter Brown. Gonna have some fun until my delivery tomorrow. Oh, you're gonna get broke by your delivery tomorrow. If you wear it, make it a parrot. Always put something on your head, especially around the holidays. There's gonna be a lot of weird drivers out. Can we get that something on your head? Hear about the Schneider breathalyzer program? Yeah, they're going to be testing. Schneider's testing a new breathalyzer. I did talk about this. They will have 8 trucks currently. And you'll have to be able to pass a breathalyzer before the truck starts. It's supposed to just kind of use the air as it filters around the truck. Really is how, because I watched a video about it, a 4-minute video about how it works. And it'll just, filter the air and see if you're drinking. Yeah, that sounds like a total disaster. But Schneider's all into CPAP and all this other stuff for everybody. They always try to make everybody prove they haven't done something. That's Schneider's whole MO. Come here, prove you haven't done anything, and then you can drive. That's how Schneider works. I don't like it. I don't like it in cars either. I have Samsara and I can edit my logs. I just cannot edit drive time. Yeah, you can never edit drive time. You'd have to start a new log. You should be able to edit the time back. Maybe it's a company by company thing. The company can certainly legally edit sleeper berth to off-duty time. They're not even changing your log, really. Anybody want to buy my G3 phone? What's a G3 phone? How old is that? That sounds like something that from the hinterlands. Mark Ely, I lived in Mexico. I learned Spanish. To my language, you're a product of your environment. Yes, exactly. And thank you very much for that. I think if I lived in Mexico, I would learn Spanish, to get around. If I went to France, I would learn French. So I think if you live in the United States, you should learn English. I just think it's that simple. But it's not required for most people. It is, though, if you get a license, a CDL. English is required. So I'd only have science in one language. I'd only have the stuff at the DOT in one language. Every test, every government document, everything would be in English. That would be how I would do it here. And this country would be English. Simple as that. You live here, you learn English. I would have a lot of that stuff. But I'm not in charge of the country, unfortunately. Speaking of mountain driving, this rookie made it down Fancy Gap for the first time the other day. Didn't touch the surface brakes. The Animate Trucker, that's perfect. That's the way to do it. If you're on the brakes a lot, you're going too fast. Very good. What do you think about Fancy Gap? Smart Trucking is out there. How you doing? I can't read the comments. Well, I shouldn't be reading comments while I'm driving. Roger Penske. Sometimes they're here. Sometimes they're not here. Even Mad signed the petition. Wow. There's like 4 million, right, Gustavo? There's like 4 million something signatures on it now. 4.5 million. I agree. I agree. Even though I don't think he should have a license or whatever necessarily. But it's not just him. And I don't think 110. I don't think that's the right sentence for what happened here. Women don't do stupid things. Have you seen some of the clowns they married? Well, right, there's no accounting for taste, I guess. They'll probably just have to settle. They're like, every guy's got a card table. What am I supposed to do? That's probably what they're thinking. So they probably settle for us, and greatly we appreciate it. Mark can't afraid he can't find a safe tractor. I know I can't even get a tractor that I can get down the road one day without it breaking down. I don't really know how to find freight. Trainers should be state certified. Yes. There's no requirements at all to be a trainer. It's just whatever the company says. You don't even have to drive. If you only worked at some states, if you only worked, on the company property, you don't even have to have a license to drive a car. Isn't that great? The other truckers coach, Tom Lehman, the young man was not properly trained. The trucking industry has been seen training go in the ditch for 35 years. I totally agree. All right, he wasn't trained. Company just sends him out. He really doesn't qualify for the license, I don't think. So all the way down, we could have stopped this all the way down, and then they hold him responsible. Well, you should have known. You should have been trained. Well, what is he supposed to do? So I agree with the petition people. Proper training is a waste of time for companies, Million Miler. Well, the problem is they can't keep people, and so they want to train them. Then they leave, but people that are not trained get very frustrated with their job, especially if all the electronics and all the stuff they have to do, and then they leave. So if you would train people, their job becomes a lot easier, I think, and they're more likely to stay. Memorize the questions and answers that are written test in a language you barely know, and there you go. Yes, you could do that now. You can find the answers online for the test. That's disappointing. Trucks at Arca Express shut off when they coast. They shut the truck off? Really? Most of them go into neutral. They've done that for years. But I can't believe they would shut the truck off. Wow. Where's my air conditioning? Look what we have to offer in a quality driver. It's a shame. Yes, exactly. The Arca Truckers Coach. Yes. It's hard to get people. It's hard to get good help these days, as they say. Who's giving the CDL to non-English speakers? It would be the government that issues the license. So that happens a lot. I'll tell you, I meet a lot of MVT drivers, and a lot of them, and it's usually teams. Neither of them speak English. They hand the phone to the guy, and the guy talks to somebody on the phone, and then he gives them the phone back and gives them the paperwork for their load, and they leave. So that's how it works. The driver with one arm was a CB handle slot machine. That would have been a good one. CB handle. And he had like the hook that opened and closed like this. So he said he liked to have to take his watch off every day, which I thought, it's taking your watch off that much of an inconvenience, but apparently it is. So in Minnesota, they offer written tests for licenses in 8 languages. Nice. That's tax dollars paying for that. It should be in English only. Licenses should be English only in all states. Had a customer rented a log splitter, get his hand on the log, and his son pulled the lever and chopped his hand off. My insurance company paid him $1.2 million for his error. Yeah, why isn't that his error? See, that's a different than renting. Renting it is different than employer, I think. Sending you out there. They're paying you. He rents it. It's up to him to figure out how to use it. He should know how to use it. If you paid him to use it, then I think it's you. Hey, Mark, is the manhole open on Christmas? Manhole is open every day, right, except for Mondays and Tuesdays for cleaning. So, yes, otherwise they're open. They will be open Christmas. Come down and get a Yule log, they said. Scary to think of someone not knowing English and hauling hazmat. Dangerous combination. It is. I mean, you should be presented with maybe a freight bill and have to read off the freight bill. Is this hazmat? That'd be a good test to do to somebody. And that's a legitimate thing, because if you're given hazmat and don't know what it is, don't know what you have, when you get in an accident, what's the first thing to say? What are you hauling? What are you hauling? I don't know. I can't read it. I mean, that's a problem. That's a problem. That's why people need to speak English. Not just because, Mark, you're against people that don't speak English. No. I think it's a safety problem. I think it makes it a lot easier to live in the country to speak English. But I think that for bills and stuff, I think it's a real safety issue. U.S. Express imported 2,400 immigrants. Yikes. And in charge of the ATA, they won't do anything about non-English speaking. Yeah, they're not going to coach him. They're certainly not going to do much about it, because half these places have, homes set up where they bring people in. They have not terminals, right? They have recruiters that recruit from other countries. There's lawyers soon sue each other over the Hammer's name. Is hilarious to me. What are we going to have next? The Hammer of Northwest Wisconsin suing the Hammer of Southern Wisconsin? Hey, wait a minute. I'm the Hammer of 73726. You can't be the Hammer of 73726. What is going on? Not giving someone a license for not knowing English is racist. That's what people would say, right? Oh, Mark, you're being racist. No. Somebody needs to know what's on their truck. Okay, when I give them a bill, they need to know. What does that say? How about that? But I agree with you. That's what people would say. I agree. When he went to get his license, they had a Spanish-speaking employee as well as made the test on the computer in his language. Is it like this in the 2002? That's no good. It shouldn't be. You don't get to pick your language for the test. The language, pick one. It should be English only on there. Good afternoon. Had to stop by and get my wiener in before work. That's what people say at the manhole on Saturdays when they're going to work late. That's funny. Aviator trucker. 1 week for 2 trainees over-the-road training at Schneider is going on now. I experienced it in October. Hired Cryptoverse. Are there 3 beds in the truck? Do they have any of those? David, all right. That's the way to do it. I'll be honest, all those mom and pop truck companies and smaller fleets are part of the problem. They leave it to the mega carriers to train and just pick up whoever survives the bare bones crap. Yeah. That is a problem. But places then, where do you go from MVT if you don't speak English? Who hires you? Where are these drivers going to go? They get stuck in these places. That's the problem too, is then people like that, who can't speak English are preyed upon. I don't know what he was making. Probably not a regular wage like everybody else made because he doesn't have any options. And so that holds rates and pay down for everybody when people are being used too. It isn't right. And the government allows that. Me as a German, I had to do verbal tests with the tester doing my CDL. Really? But you speak English. I mean, we're typing it here. What, did they test you on your English? Because you were not an original American citizen. As a Schneider driver, I'll be spraying cologne in the air. I'm sure that will shut the truck down. Smells good. Mark for president in 2024. We'll start the campaign today. I lived in Ottawa, Canada for a month and learned Canadian English, eh? Yeah, even up there you'd have to learn Canadian. I mean, go to Britain, you're going to have to learn Great British. There's a lot of different languages. When I took my overseas vacation to the Ukraine, I learned to speak basic Ukrainian to help things along. Kelly, I bet that did help things, right? Now you could use Google Translate, which is pretty good. My friend whose parents came here from Romania, right, and I've tested it with him, and he speaks fluent Romanian because they speak it in his house, and he said it's pretty good. He said it's pretty good, so I would trust it for that, but it shouldn't be enough to get a license. Yeah, 2024 for Mark, all right, and Gracie, Mark Gracie on the ticket. She'll do more than the current vice president. That's what it says. Mark, I was working for Swift 2 years and got my physical, and they told them I was a disabled vet on a CPAP machine and also take Provigil. They never had a problem, and now they fired me. What'd they fire you for, though? How do you get fired from Swift? I mean, what, do they fire you now? They probably, I don't know. Look, I'm not a lawyer. I don't think they can just fire you for that. Gracie could be the VP. You want to be the VP, Gracie? She'll tell me later when she wakes up. Gracie will pull the strings behind the scene like the wizard. My company doesn't have any trainers, just complainers. That's at every company. Let's nominate Mark. Let's get him on the ticket here. I don't think that it is because Schneider works that way. There's probably an insurance cost component under the Salinas. I'd like to know if Schneider has 3 beds in their trucks. We need Gracie flags, Gracie pennants. I just watched the Snyder, Gracie. We get Gracie. Where'd she go over here? Gracie, she's going to be the vice president? Yikes. I don't know if she can stay up long enough to be the vice president, to be honest with you. I just watched the Schneider video about the mirrorless truck technology. It removes much of the right side blind spot. Bright headlights are moderated. I don't have to move my head to look right. Yes. Kind of like the... It's self-dimming, like mirrors in cars now. That's self-dim. Yeah, I think it's a good idea. It's just the idea that if it stops working, like technology does, then what are we going to do? What do we do then? Because there's no mirror out there. It'd be tough to even just change lanes to get off the side of the road if it stopped working. So, I don't know what to say about that. Cash is King Trucking. Goodness, thank you very much. Tip your non-cow-tailing host. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Hopefully you get back up there before the snow comes across the country. Yikes. Let's see. Where did I... Oh, and I lost my little spot here. Where did I go off to? Oh, right here. The engine brake on my Peterbilt is terrible. I was going down a hill on 80. I only had 15,000. I had to hit the service brake 5 times. Well, yeah. It must not have a strong brake. Not a Jacobs brake, which is a brand name like Kleenex. So it must be an off-brand brake, an Aldi brake. But he didn't hit the runaway ramp past 3 of them on the way down. Todd, that is true. Now, could he not read the sign? We don't know. Was he not told about them? We don't know. Was he told, like many companies say, if you go in there, you're fired? That's a possibility. We don't know. We don't know any of that. I know training would have helped that. And I know that if you can't pass the license test through all the requirements, you shouldn't have a license. I know that. So I don't think 110, no matter what, I don't think 110 is sufficient. I mean... I don't think anybody thinks he went down there saying, I'm going to intentionally go kill a bunch of people. So I find 110 years to be too much, I think. Hair Cryptoverse, thank you very much. For Mark's Christmas thong. For Christmas. Yeah, green. Always a green one on Christmas. With a little holly back there. And a mistletoe in the right spot. I just got done recording and uploading my steel beam strapping down my load video to my channel in accordance with DOT regulations. JL Travels. Perfect. You know, that's some people could do training themselves on YouTube basically for what they want to learn now. At Schneider, so if you fart, you stop. I will tell you, look, it samples the air in the cab. There were several ones, including one on top of the steering column. And it samples the air as it goes by. So I guess theoretically, if you're drinking while you're driving, it would read that. My question is, what if it doesn't work? What if it doesn't work? Say it stops working, a malfunctioned truck won't start. You can't call Schneider up and say, look, I'm not drinking, start the truck. They're not going to do that. They're going to have to send you for a test to make sure. Because what if you're lying? You get in an accident. So the liability would be huge. So that's another one of these technology things that really bothers me. You shouldn't have to prove you didn't do something. That's not how this country works. Right? You are innocent until proven guilty in court, I think. Now, like I say, too, I talked about this in the podcast a little, that Schneider has every right to do that, and then everybody should quit. Okay, so they won't, but everybody should quit. Trainers need to include in their training how to get and not properly and not paid properly while a company does it safely. Well, companies will show you how to do that themselves. As a new lawyer, I call dibs on the marshmallow. No stealing it. I'm the Oregon marshmallow, you could say. Maybe shippers should stop working with drivers that cannot speak English. Oh yeah, they don't care. They just want their freight. A lot of times you don't have to talk to anybody. You just grunt at them. You just grunt. Here's your paperwork. Grunt. And they're like, door 10. All voting and voting-related materials and anything requiring licensure should be in English. I can understand customs, the State Department and ports of entry being in foreign language. For visitors, absolutely. But any official government things like that, where we're not talking about visitors, should be in English. That's it. You need to do business with the government, it's in English. That's how the government would work here. If you want to come in the country, yeah, right, we're checking you at the airport or something, that's fine. People can speak another language because we welcome visitors. You want to live and work here, it's in English. Heard that in Indiana, you can witness an accident and keep going. You can be charged if someone dies. No, flat highway. Well, look, again, not a lawyer. Bill Handel has talked about this many times, which I recommend his podcast, Handel on the Law. He does a law podcast, and people ask this kind of thing all the time. Do I have to do anything in an act? Do I have to do anything if I see a crime? No. He says no. So I'm not an attorney. So he says no, you don't have to do anything. You're not required to take any kind of action. You are not a cop. You aren't an official. You aren't a doctor, right? You can just walk by and just ignore everything. In party nights, is the manhole wide open? The manhole is very wide open. It's being held open. I would have a lot of lizards blowing the truck for me. $20 well spent. A lot lizard. 20. Wow. Inflation. Everything's up. Gas is $3.27 today. It was $2.24 last year. Up 52% in a year. Boy, even lot lizards. I get bills in Spanish. Really? Shouldn't the bills be in English? I'd want to know what it is. The other truckers coach, be interested to see if their new CDL requirements in February will make a difference. I doubt it. It's just a little bit of training requirements, and it mainly affects the places you can get trained. It's not going to affect the person themselves at all. So I don't think so. Cassius King Trucking, hit the like button. By the way, thank you very much. And by the way, those new training requirements affect you if you don't have your hazmat yet. So if you're interested in getting a hazmat, it's time to go get it. You got about a month because you'll have to go take some more extra training in February. So goodness, what the heck here is going on? Well, doggies, goodness. Merry Christmas. You're helping commercial drivers in many different ways. Hang in there. Well, I appreciate it. Wow. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Especially for Christmas time. So and I lost my spot. English. Oh, right there. English should be required for driving in a lane where electronic information signs are written in English. Yeah. All the signs are in English. All I'm saying is it makes it a lot easier and to drive in that English. And I would learn another language if I was going to move somewhere. Okay, so absolutely. My friend's parents who moved here from Romania, you know what they speak to me in? English. Okay, they don't speak to me in Romanian and expect I learn a Romanian. They learned English. They both become American citizens. And he, especially his dad, is very proud of that. He's about, I don't know, he got close to 80 now. And he's very proud of being an American citizen, and he knows English. And yeah, does he have an accent? Yes. Does he speak English? Yes. There are too many snowflakes out there. I agree. License. We don't need a license. Yeah, who needs a license? If you don't pass the test for a license, there's no point in licensing people. Just hand the licenses out. Just send them out to everybody, and we're okay. Massachusetts only gives commercial licenses in English. If you're doing your test for your automobile, it could be one of 1,000 languages. See, I think even that should be in English. How do you read the signs? Doesn't say El Stapo, which is another language. It says stop, right? So I guess they just go by the shapes. Is that why they teach you shapes now? But I don't know what a dodecahedron sign means. I don't know. Is that no walking in a school zone? I don't know what that means. If you have a person from Germany sneaking in the country, is that an illegal Aryan? Oh, nice. Too soon for those kind of things. 70 years is too soon. The use of accidents like one in Denver to push autonomous trucks. Well, yeah, they would say, look, an autonomous truck could probably do this better than this driver. It would have known to slow down. Or ironically, the trucks, at least my truck, right, it reads the signs and it'll have little speed limit sign there. So which is kind of funny in English. Running miles, how's it going? Hey, what's happening? Running miles over the weekend. Truckers should learn Morse code. I don't even know Morse code. They stopped it on the ham license a while ago. How do deaf people get a license? You can get a license if you're deaf. I don't know about a CDL. You can drive a car if you're deaf for sure. You for sure could drive a car if you're deaf. You don't have to hear anything. I mean, have you ever been in a car with the radio cranked up where the whole car is rumbling? The car's worth $400 and the radio's $3,000. So you can't hear anything anyways. One downside of Mark and Gracie 2024 is that Gracie sleeps around more than the current vice president. Oh, she sleeps more, doesn't sleep around more. Not 3 beds. Okay, I wondered if they had 3 beds in the Schneider trucks. When Schneider trains 2 people at a time, one student sleeps in the truck, another gets their own hotel room as well as the trainer. Gotta say, that part was nice. That's so weird. What, somebody stays in the truck as security? So do they rotate that? Yeah, that's better than sleeping in the truck. That's so weird. What do you do during the day? Sleeper, seat, and seat? SWIP may fire a person who does not meet required number of crashes. You didn't have the correct crash number. I guess that, they could fire you for whatever. I'm just curious why they're firing people now. Cattle truckers don't use logs. Some ag is exempt, including cattle. Let's go, Brandon. That isn't what they said, right? I heard that in the news. If there's a video from Werner from a driver that has an elevator lift on his truck to get in since he can't walk. Yeah, I've seen a couple of trucks like this where they've got like a lift on the side, get in the sleeper and roll into the truck. So certainly, if you can drive and can't even walk, you should be able to get that passed with one leg. I think you get an exemption. My '07 Avalon has self-dimming mirrors. Why are trucks so far behind? Cash King Trucking. I agree, right? Okay, so here you have a 14-year-old car that has a self-dimming rearview mirror. Exactly, right? Why do trucks not have a heated steering wheel and heated seats? We've had this in cars for decades. This kind of stuff makes driving a lot more comfortable. They're just coming into trucks now. Trucks are way far behind. And it would seem like the truck would be the first one to get this technology. I've had stuff on cars that trucks, are just getting now. Your Avalon has self-dimming mirrors 14 years ago. Exhaust brakes are ineffective below 1,800 RPMs. I use them all the time. I always have it on. I'm in Minnesota now. I'm leaving out tomorrow. Oh, all right. For just a couple days? Or are you having an early Christmas? Or do you not do Christmas? Livestock truckers are a special breed, and someone has to do the job. Look, somebody's got to move it around. I agree with you. And they do get a lot of exemptions because they don't want the cattle sitting around. So I agree. I'm with you. They're salting the roads here today, John Harp. Really? Why? We got nothing. I looked at the forecast. There's nothing for the next couple of weeks. Nothing here at all. So, yeah, I don't know what they're saying. A flat highway. I would be the mechanic who has to fix those cameras. Schneider putting them to work. Yes, and thank you very much for that. Well, the problem is, how do we get the truck to you? You're going to have to get called out. Without mirrors, you're not going to even be able to drive the truck. So it's going to be side of the road kind of thing. And that's not going to be something you can go to the TA and just get fixed by the 18-year-old at TA or whatever. It's going to be probably a dealer problem, which is even worse. Roy, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Goodness. 110 years in the pokey is long enough to learn a new language. Well, that's true. Isn't that great? Let's see. Oh, have you noticed companies recruiting phone numbers are not answering the phones? Even if you do get through, a lot of them tell you to apply first. That's what people are saying to me. They're like, oh, just apply and then we'll talk. They'll contact you. So they just get through all the applications and then decide who they're going to talk to. Yeah, I love that. Right. Cars have heated wipers. Why don't trucks have a million miles? I agree with you. How long has that been on cars? I'm like, oh my gosh, why are the wipers not heated? I've always been griping about that. If anything, trucks should have had that initially. Cars have heated fluid too. A lot of cars heat the fluid up. Especially, you get that a lot on European cars, and it's just coming to American cars. And then here, trucks, oh no, you're fine without that. And you go to ask them to put it on as a retrofit, they're like, no, don't do that. Host your tip at the manhole. Very good. Mistletoe jam, David. The other day I was confused. Brand new Peterbilt being towed down the road. I'm assuming the dealership had one, a T-Force truck. The other one had a UPS truck. Hey, look, you never know. Sometimes these new trucks, you get them and they fall apart right away. Alex, from what I've seen this year, you don't have to be awake to be president or vice president. That is true. You certainly don't have to know what you're doing. And that's not just this one. Let's all buy expensive trucks and stay home. Yeah, let's just keep it at home. Austin Highmark, have you noticed companies recruiting phone? Oh, okay, yes, right. Yeah, that's what they said. People have said that to me. I call and they won't talk to me. Kind of like I had with Stevens. The thing about Schneider alcohol testing, we don't know if it's a government grant program. Believe me, it's a government grant program. Companies don't do this stuff without government grants. They're not doing it for their own health. There's some kind of money in on it. Are you going to do a best company to work for in 2022? Well, there's so many different factors in that. That's hard to do. There's good companies to work for. But then people, have their own reasons why they work a place. If you want to be out a long time, it'd have to be broke down. You want it to be home every day, like that. You want to run a flatbed? 110 years is outrageous. I think so too. I might be with the governor, and I might say, look, we'll commute it to time served. But the company's got to come up for charges. Unfortunately, the governor probably can't charge them. They're in Texas. Doug, Mark, they told me they would fire me for taking the medication Providual, and that it's a narcotic. They shouldn't have hired me for taking that. I don't know, being not a doctor. That'd be an interesting question, for a different... Call a clinic in your area that does DOT physicals. Just as a person like off the street and say, hey, this is the medication I take. Can I pass a DOT physical? And see what they say. That'd be an interesting question. That would be and if they say yes, and then you got it made, And if you passed your physical anyways, I think you got a problem with that. You got a lawyer thing. Although, do you want to work somewhere that's like that? That's the other question. It's still worth a call to a local clinic that does DOT physicals and say, this is what I'm taking. Am I going to be able to pass a physical? When I started trucking over 7 years ago, one of the drivers in my training class at a major carrier got fired after 1 month because he always got lost. He didn't know English. Wilbon, nice. Yeah, you can't read the signs. Although I guess now, which would be even more prevalent than then, GPS would tell you where to turn. You can have your GPS in different languages. Languages are racist. Nice. Yeah, everything is now, right? I'm all for people coming here legally and working all they want. But one of the things here in the United States should be to learn English. I think it would help everybody assimilate. That's right, because everything else is irrelevant. A couple of weeks ago, I was in Mexico. I was so upset the signs are all in Spanish. Why can't they be in English? You should complain and say, look, I'm here. You need to change everything you do for me. I'm not going to be here for you. You have to change for me. I agree with you, right? DUI and HRS are guilty until you prove yourself innocent. That's too bad. Yeah, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with any of that. Nothing should really happen to you until you're proven guilty of something. Certainly from a company. Schneider, this whole goal, you can't... Schneider, as soon as you walk in there, you can't sleep. You're 6'3" and weigh 185. Oh, get in there, fatty. All right, that's how it is at Schneider. So I had a random drug test on Friday and also had to take a breathalyzer, million miler. Yeah, that's a company thing. Sometimes they'll breathalyze you also. I've gone in there occasionally and they're like, you also have to breathalyze. I'm like, oh crap, really? Nobody told me that. I can't drink enough vinegar for that, I told him. Don't ever say that in there, by the way. So if they invented a giant magnet in the road to slow down a truck, he probably wouldn't, because the whole thing is made of plastic. Trucker, there's a lot of aluminum and plastic in them. That's not a bad idea, though. Should deaf people be allowed to talk while they drive? They could talk, but I guess, I don't know, how do they read? Somebody talks to them would have to be in sign language. You couldn't read the signs on a freeway in the DOT signs, I bet. How did he get in truck school to start with? Just because they wanted his money? You know, it would seem like as soon as you talk to somebody about coming to school, you'd know that they don't do English, unless it's just reading and can speak it. Stay out of Mexico if you can't read the signs. You know what? You can Google Lens the signs. How about that? If anybody hasn't used it, Google Lens. It's an app now. It used to just be on the internet. Download it, and you can take pictures of things, and it'll tell you what they are. I use it to identify birds that are at my bird feeder. Of all things, they also have an app for the bird song. So if there's just one bird making noise back there, I can figure out what kind of bird it is. I don't know why. It's so easy to sneak up on a deaf person. They never hear you. The same thing for a blind person. I guess so. Do you sneak up on blind people? Well, you know, the blind person, that dog sees you. So you can't sneak up on them. There used to be a guy in front of Goldblatt's. Who remembers Goldblatt's in Hammond? He was out there all the time. We would see him. He had a dog sitting under his chair, and he had pencils for sale. I always remember that guy. He was blind, ostensibly blind. He had dark glasses on. The sarcasm is thick in chat. It gets that way sometimes. Dylan, how's it going this week? It's going great. Woke up today. That's the first sign that the day's going to go good, and that's what I actually think when I wake up. I'm like, all right, I got another day. Mechanics should never hate. It's UPS and FedEx, they've been posting videos about how many packages they have and griping about it. I'm like, don't you deliver packages for a living? Well, not a lot of packages. I think all Sierra Street trucks should have a mandatory handicap placard on them. It appears there are a lot of mentally challenged people working there. They're the solution to the whole industry, as we found out. They're going to save trucking. You know how safety and comfort are only a word in this industry. They are. That's the one thing I would do buying a truck for drivers. Even a fleet truck, I would upgrade the seat. Why is the seat terrible in trucks? Getting a new seat today in my Freightliner and the home time. Yes, Roy, that's what I'm talking about. Tell them to put a nice seat in there. The seat should be very expensive with a lot of buttons on the side of it. Going to New Orleans and back before Christmas. Snowman style. Wow. Wow. Is somebody going to be... They're going to take the Avalon in front of you because you don't have a Firebird. So they're going to go ahead of you with the Avalon. Fleet trucks always are decked out, bare bones, or moderately equipped, part of the metrics. But that doesn't keep people, really. I mean, it doesn't cost that much more, especially a larger fleet buying trucks. I'm sure you can get a discount to upgrade just the driver's seat. It doesn't even have to be upgraded the passenger seat because mostly it's usually solos. Honda vehicles have cameras in them, but they still have the mirror. When you turn your blinker on, the camera turns on. Yes, that's called Honda Sight. Oh, the passenger mirror usually has that. So you can see what's on that side of the vehicle. Right. And it lights up. Hyundais do that too now. Either side now. It changes in the dash right in front of you. It changes one side or the other depending which side you turn your turn signal on. But they also have mirrors because cars are required to have outside mirrors. Here, these trucks are getting an exemption from the outside mirror. There's only the camera. So the camera goes out. How are you going to make it right? You can't. How are you going to drive? You're not going to be able to drive anywhere. Just put your signal on and wait a couple seconds and hope for the best. How about the dude who needed a new 20,000 hour battery pack in his Tesla? Strapped dynamite to it and blew it up. I saw that. Right. Sometimes the batteries go bad and they're very expensive in the cars. Swift Transportation sent me a recruitment email the other day for hauling containers out of ports. What did it pay? Did it pay anything? Because JCT is going to give 30 cents a mile extra from December 21st to January 4th to their drivers. And so I looked up how much does it pay if you're leasing a truck there, including fuel surcharge right now. They're giving $1.40. Think about that, those of you that own a truck right now, including fuel, $1.40 to lease a truck there. Save hardly any mile per gallon on mirrorless trucks, and spend $2,000 on the wrecker bill. It doesn't seem to me that the mirrors would save that much fuel. But then, they have hubcaps on them, and I can't even tell the fuel difference between a hubcap truck and a non-hubcap truck. But they say over the life of the truck, it's like so many hundreds of dollars over the cost, and I'm like, maybe. Maybe if you have a lot of trucks and over time it does save, I don't know. Because that thing's going to have to go back to the dealer. The people at the shop can barely do an oil change. Where three of them, it's like the three monkeys with the eyes closing. It's like they have no idea how to even do that. Oh, we don't know what's going to. So that took 2 weeks to get a service back on the truck last time. 2 weeks. How long? If I had my mirror out on the truck, I'd probably never see the truck again. Same with the digital dash. Yeah, what if the dash goes out? Although the Dash and the Sonic is digital. The only gauge is at TAC. Everything else is digital. It still works. It's 9 years old now. It's soon to be 9 years old. Wish you could have backup cameras. I don't know why they never did that. Maybe side cameras. This isn't a rookie thing. I'd improve everyone's back time and reduce accidents. I agree. Backing cameras, I don't know why there's not a camera that just connects to the truck Bluetooth. You back up to the trailer, or when you plug the trailer in, it connects to the truck that way. And they can't say, well, because of the weather. They're in cars. They've been on cars since April of 18. It's been required. And many cars had them for many years before that. Some of them for quite a while before that. Why don't some of my trailers have backup lights? I agree. Why isn't there a light back there? A couple, you'll see a few every once in a while that have lights. Mostly don't have lights, so it's all dark. You got to get a magnetic light and turn on and stick it back there. James, 110 years, I thought I heard a trucking company filed bankruptcy and closed due to lawsuits filed. That's the problem with suing them. A small place like that, you're not going to get any money out of them, but they should still go to jail, I think. The people in charge there that let them go out there should be in jail. That's how you change things. Money, you're never going to get any money out of them. This isn't some place with thousands of trucks where they can't go bankrupt. This is just a little place. Back in the day, they had cool names for cars. Now they're SX and RX. It's more fun when they name cars after animals, like Cougar. Call the state medical review officer. They will be able to tell you for sure. That's what I do with my medications. Yeah, call a few phone calls would be able to figure that out and see if you can drive with that medication. And you know what? If you can't, talk to your doctor and say, I can't drive with this, but I want to drive. So what is it? What does this same thing, whatever this medication does, but something where I could drive with it. And that'd be something to do, certainly. There's usually some kind of alternate thing. I use my Garmin with German language. I get lost a lot, but it's so funny. I have it set. A Waze allows you to put different accents, so I have an English accent because it just sounds classier. I drive the Turbo Sloth. My Sloth is, at least it's turbocharged, like a Turbo Metro. Or Sprint, that's what it was. I drive a Peterbilt, you don't need mirrors. Just stick your head out of the windows. Right, the window's right there. So they could just give everybody like a 389 Peterbilt. Or you could use a half cab Mac. The window was right there. There was a stick shift on the window. A company told me I'm not allowed to change my wipers on my truck to avoid falling and hurting myself, but it's cool to climb up the truck in the winter to clean the wipers when it's icy. Yeah, that's true. The companies, they told me that here. Because I got my truck back from service and it had a light out still. I don't even know if I talked about that in the podcast. It still had a headlight out. And so I call them up. I said, look, leave me a light. Right? I tell the manager, I go, leave me a headlight out. Well, we don't like you guys, doing work on the trucks. It's partly for being hurt and partly because the company thinks you're incompetent, even though it took 2 weeks to get a PM back. And I'm like, look, leave the light. Well, we don't know if you should do it. Well, I said, well, it didn't get done at the shop. Somebody's got to do it. It's going to take me 2 minutes to change it. Idiots. They're just a bunch of idiots. And they don't want you changing wipers or anything like that. They don't want you to do anything to the truck, really. I would have hated to be the guy on the other end of the Western Union back in the day with Morse code if the sender stuttered. Ugh. There's still Western Union, by the way. I thought that was pretty interesting. I looked that up a while ago. Hey, Cash King Trucking Bet. Oh, yeah, I don't know any German. Watch the CRST driver pull the cab down to get to him to get in. How do you pull the cab down to get in? It's a new seat as well. I'm lucky. Yeah, I would assume so. Hopefully it's going to be super nice. Sitting in that new seat, I could just feel it now. My trainer in England got fired for having adult fun with his wife in the sleeper while the student was driving. Really? So they were like playing Jenga back there? That's all I'm thinking about. But I've been married a long time, so there may be other things. Got paid $20 to close a very heavy set of driver's doors. Huh. I was planning on leaving my job during the holidays to play an elf at the mall, and person hiring me said I had low self-esteem. Wow. Somebody got their joke book early this year. I once dated a woman who loved to sing karaoke, but she stuttered really badly. She could only sing to the broken record. We all stamped on the floor to get her to finish the song. Hey, get her moving along. Do you know the Flintstones had a Christmas episode? No, I didn't know that. That's probably on YouTube somewhere. I think if the camera mirror goes out, it's going to change how most drivers do things. Seems like no one checks their mirrors anyway. Yeah. So at least these would be inside. They'll auto dim. They won't fog, so you won't need mirror heaters. They did say all that, and that's true because the mirror itself, the display is in the truck. And that will be nice. You won't get the bright lights from the people putting their 80 million light bar lights on the front of their Columbias and stuff like that. But when it goes out, you're not going to be able to turn. You keep getting calls from Swift and CRST, I bet. It will never stop. They're just automated. Ask when CRST calls, say you want to be part of the trucking solution, and you're welcome to go there. And that'll be pretty funny. Lane watch, that's what it's called at Honda, lane watch, right. It's usually the passenger side, and it lights up in there. There's a little camera under the mirror, though, because cars are required to have mirrors. Usually it's the driver's side only, but most cars put them on both sides. I heard the people who commit suicide will never live to regret it. True. I got to put up my Christmas tree. Should do it Friday, as it'll stay up until February 2nd. Your Christmas tree isn't up yet? No, Christmas tree goes up after Thanksgiving and then comes down on the 1st after the New Year. Stay up till February 2nd. Yours is like a little bit later. Are you going to replace the Sonic or run it into the ground? Run it in the ground. It has 66,000 miles on it. I put 2,000 miles a year on it. So I don't know if I'll ever get how it'll ever go. I wish that the new trucks only came with all axle disc brakes. Those are extra, and so cheap companies don't buy them. I wish they were standard. Most cars have them standard now. JCT an extra 4 cents a mile. Oh my gosh, laughing so hard I'm going to pee myself. JC drivers put them out of business. Yeah, here's what JCT is doing. From December 21st to January 4th, all miles will pay an extra 30 cents. Right now, they are paying $1.40, including fuel, to drivers. So, because they lease their trucks, $1.40 includes fuel. So you'll be getting $1.70. Pretty nice, huh? Pretty nice. For only 2 weeks. I actually got a message on my Hyundai dashboard that told me the forward safety system is limited due to obscure camera when there was frost out. Yes. Yours doesn't heat, apparently. The Escape, I have the adaptive cruise on it, but it heats. It heats the little sensor, stays warm, which is pretty nice. So it heats the lane keep sensor also, because when you pre-start the car, you can see it melt. It melts that part of the windshield off pretty good. So the newer ones heat that sensor up. Why those don't heat on trucks? Another thing. Why don't they heat on the truck? They heat on the car. The whole front of the car is covered with snow, except there on some Christmases when we've gone places. So, yeah, it needs to be heated. Wonder if someone was on the phone with the Denver driver pushing him to keep going instead of losing his truck on a runaway ramp. I wonder if the trucking company said, don't ever use a ramp because we'll fire you. There is that possibility. And I never asked them here because we don't go to Denver, but I don't know if they'd fire you or not. I want to seat massage my butt cheeks. Yes, especially after a day at the manhole. Suicide is serious. Absolutely. Right. So there. I think I still have the thing. I don't know if I have. Oh, I do have it right here. Yeah, Christmas time is the worst time for that. So I'll put the phone number up there, right? Call this number. Okay, if you need to call it. Absolutely. It's free. It's 24 hours a day. Somebody will talk to you. How can you call car names boring when the most iconic and sought-after truck in America uses a bunch of numbers on their model? Like Cascadia? I drove a Rolls can hardly. I can roll down a hill, but can hardly make it up the next hill. Well, doggies, very good. What was the price in that Lexus SC? $20,000. And by the way, that car in not great condition. It does have 53 Carfax reports on it, considering it doesn't have that many miles. They're very rare. They only made 14,000 of them in the United States that year. That has the aluminum retractable hardtop on that 430. It's not that fast as you would think. 6.2 to 60 on that, 288 horsepower. Only slightly slower than the Escape that I brought over there to look at it. But it has a lot of dents, dings, scratches. The rims are in poor condition. It has Ecopia tires on it, which I wouldn't put on that car. The headlight lenses are yellow. Those need to be fixed. The dealer's already put a paint protection on it because that dealer is a big scam dealer in that town, I think. So I don't even know if they did it. Look, it needed work beyond what it looked like in the picture. Each car that you see generally at the beginning of the video, I've already done a video about, and will be on the car channel the next week. So a full video of it, where I walk around it and talk about the car, give all the facts and everything. If a company wants me to accept and adapt to a new technology, then I want 100% exoneration on all tech and failures in writing up front. Yeah, as they come in, well, you know, they don't give you grief about it usually at companies, but that kind of thing, you're just going to have to pull over slowly and call a shop if your mirrors go out. Reporting trucks boycotting Colorado doing sentencing. They did. I saw a video about it. There's no way that's true. And what happens when people boycott is other people come in because the rates start to go up. So I don't think it'll work. And truck drivers are not big about sticking together on stuff for sure. Acceleration rules. GP Transco has disc brakes on all the trucks and trailers. It should save money. The trucks stop faster, and I would like them. So they should go down hills better because they dissipate heat better rather than a gigantic iron drum. That's good. That's an extra cost. Think about that. They're paying extra for that safety on there, and that says something. If the state starts with C, I'm not going to haul anything in or out of there. All right. That works good. Including the Granite State. Oh, hey, it's Monday. Fleet Nav Systems. Happy Monday and Merry Christmas to all of you. Hey, welcome. It's good to see you here. Let's ask this log question then. Can you edit? A driver was he got in trouble for going on sleeper berth during his off time, and then he would come back and be on sleeper berth the whole weekend. Can you go back and edit that? And how long could you go back? Can you edit it after you have certified the log? How about that question? My Bluetooth just turned red. Time to plug it in. Do the Mirror Eye trucks have hood mirrors? I don't know about that. Because the hood mirrors aren't required, so I'm not sure. The tankers I pull up have a red light that flashes when I get on the brakes and back up. Can't use it in Michigan because the night people think I'm a state trooper. Oh, okay. For other people, yeah. Hey, they go, what's going on? I'm not going to go back to being a boring company driver. I'll go back to working on trucks before I'll drive a castrated chunk. Boring. It's never boring. It's always exciting. Hey, is the truck going to start? What's wrong with it today? You never know. Are my headlights going to turn on? You can drive on Provigel, I take it. Okay, so then you can pass it. We're talking about to somebody in your area about it. Aviator Trucker and Well Doggies are having a dad joke contest. Can't stick around today, but hope you have a great day and week and wonderful Christmas. Stay safe. All right, so they'll probably be gone before they answer my question. The Catholic Church says the Christmas season is from Christmas Day to Purification Day, which is February 2nd. All right, so you do different days. All right, fair enough. I will say there's some people that have Christmas lights up all year, so you're probably doing better than them. I didn't realize that. They're just trying to cut out. They're trying to cut out the Hanukkah. They're like, hey, one holiday at a time. What would a rabbi say about that? I don't know. Are there any rabbis on here? I would like Arnold and Terminator 2. I cannot self-terminate. Good. Nobody should. Call the number if you're thinking about that. Okay, that's no solution. Believe me. There's better ways to get around whatever the problem is. I prefer the name Brain Shaker Crashgadia. The sleepers are good. Okay, you can tell the difference. I'm like Arnold from Green Acres. People can't understand you when you talk. Do I need hood mirrors if I don't drive in the hood? You know, the hood mirrors aren't required. In some companies, which I didn't realize, TMC has a lot of them without hood mirrors on them. So those aren't required, and some companies don't put them on. I think partly also so they don't get broke off, so I don't have to fix them. I like them, but a lot of people don't use them. Don't leave yet. Didn't leave yet, so you caught me in time. Oh, okay, good. How about the photo from the sun probe? Yeah, where they sent a probe through the sun. That's amazing. We can do that, but we can't live on Mars. The driver should be able to go back and change it to off-duty for up to 14 days. Shouldn't matter if it's certified. We have videos about changing laws. All right, so you can go back for 2 weeks. So beyond that, let's ask this then. So beyond that, could a company go back and change it more than 14 weeks older than that? 14 days older? You know, can the company go back and edit in the back? Because we're not changing any drive time, just sleeper berth to off-duty time. What would the deal with the company be? I never log sleeper berth. I always just log off-duty whenever I'm done for the day. Do you log off-duty if you're in the sleeper berth? And if you're in the sleeper berth, why would you log off duty rather than sleeper time? Just curious about that. On why you might put off duty. Because are you really off duty? Can you pursue activities of your own choosing? I'm Landstar. The right side hood mirror is required here. Okay, so one mirror required at that place. Would they accept the camera? Oh, that's interesting on the new truck. Maybe if once they become the law, they probably would accept it. I didn't know they required a right side hood mirror there. So I can assume then at Landstar you wouldn't pass the inspection. Your truck wouldn't pass inspection without that mirror on at least the right side. Oh, that's pretty good. I had no idea. Florida's going to spend $3.1 million, by the way, to help people get their CDL B and C license. That's right. They need 1,200 more people. You know who uses a B truck a lot? Amazon. Yeah, Amazon. Isn't that something? JB Hunt. Do you know who does that? JB Hunt. You're like, what? Yes. JB Hunt Final Mile is the biggest, the fastest growing part of JB Hunt right now. They deliver furniture all over the country to people's homes. White glove service. They use straight trucks. Fleet Nav Systems, after 14 days, have already certified an admin can make the edit, but the driver can't sign off on it. The admin would have to print and have a driver sign a hard copy filed in the office for 6 months. All right, so it would be possible for the company then to go back if a driver just had put sleeper berth instead of off duty and get those logs edited so that they're legitimate. All right. That's interesting. I think crap car of the week. No, it's just whatever interesting car that I find that week. And that happened to be one that I found interesting. Sometimes it's new cars. There just aren't a lot of new cars around. So I'll find these used cars like that SC430, which there are not very many of. It's probably very reliable. That one just has seen better days. It could use a little more working for 20. It needs some body work, and the rims are in poor condition, which would have to be fixed. And, there's paint chips and stuff. It just didn't look great. And I'll give you a look. It's 20 years old. I get it, right? But it just didn't look, $20,000 worth of car. It was only $58,000 new, which seems like a lot, but that was 20 years ago. For example, it's legal to drive with Ambien, but I can't take it and drive because it makes me sleepy, and I never adjusted it. All right, fair enough. I love my hood mirrors, especially for odd angle left turns. A right hood mirror is great. I love the hood mirrors. When they started putting them on trucks, I thought, oh, this is brilliant. That stupid mirror over the passenger door, that's what should go. That mirror, I never used that mirror. Maybe they could bring the hole in the doors back on the passenger side, too. Those showed up for a while, and then they disappeared again. Put yourself in sleeper whenever possible in case of an accident. Court can't claim you weren't rested. Oh, that's very good. I just don't know why you would go home or be off duty if you're in the sleeper. Like if you're sleeping, why would you be off duty? I'm just curious about it. I'd like that. Yeah, I think that's a good idea for them to do. Off duty is doing activities of my own choosing, and I choose to sleep. I agree. All right. Yeah, right. You're choosing to sleep. I'm just curious why in the sleeper people would log it off duty. What is the benefit? Is it just people just hitting off duty? Yeah, that could be an activity of your own choosing at the location of your choice, which is right here in the truck. I could see that it would work. I'm just curious of why people would do it. I don't know why people would do it. Oh, Georgia. Georgia Supreme Court said, look, if there's not a city ordinance or whatever, they cannot boot your truck. Nobody can boot your truck unless there's an ordinance in place. How about that? If you park in Georgia now, that went to the Supreme Court. A lot of places don't have ordinances. It's just like a local business, a Walmart or whatever, putting up a sign and then having a company come in and boot you and make you pay money. No, Georgia says no now. Not allowed in the state. No, that's the whole state of Georgia. They can't just put up a sign and boot you. They have to have a city ordinance or some local ordinance that allows it. Otherwise, no boots allowed. That's good. So that stupid boot they put over the windshields of trucks I've seen, they windshield boot you? No. I grew up Catholic, and I don't remember being purified by a groundhog. I don't know. I mean, look, I'm no Catholic expert, so I'll have to say that's a possibility. I have no idea. I know people put the trees up and down at different days. We always did after Thanksgiving, and then it went down at New Year's. That's how the tree usually went for us. Of course, all that info is based on my Geotab functionality. Shouldn't be taken as legal advice. You should ask your local FMCSA field office center for the legalities. Yes, always contact the local FMCSA field service officer for any legalities, noting logbooks. Absolutely. contact your local FMCSA field office. They are the final word on all these things. And I lost my whole page. There it is. Okay. My 2022 Mac Pinnacle has the window at the bottom of the passenger door. Really? I haven't seen those for a while. And I thought, oh, they're taking those out of trucks. That I liked. But that little mirror on top of the door, on top of the passenger door, it looks down right there. I don't like that. The fender mirror does plenty of good for that. If you only have a Class B, can you drive a tractor bobtail? Yeah, you use single unit. So the A is combination. So you could. But they're doing this in Florida for people to get their B and C license. It's going to be funded by the state. That's $2,500 a person times 1,240 people is how much they're putting into it. And that will help people get their license. And that's Amazon. Isn't that great? They use a lot of straight trucks. That's all I'm saying. Will help companies. If companies need more drivers, they should fund the school. How about that? Why would you not use any of the mirrors? Summit had both hood mirrors and the passenger mirror above the door plus the two mirrors. I use them. I don't like the door mirror. I don't think it gives me a view of anything. That's why I don't use that mirror. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't do anything for me. It gives you a weird angle of what's down there, a weird shape because of the convex of the mirror. Man, I just don't like it. So usually if I have one, this truck doesn't have one, but on trucks when I have them, I just push it up so it's out of the way. I don't like it up there. Yeah. The other mirrors, yeah, I like that. But the top of door mirror, I never liked that mirror. George Wilson, my barber does not think I'm old enough yet at 56 to get wings like Paulie Walnuts on Sopranos. I didn't watch that show. Wasn't that on HBO or something? I don't have HBO. Groundhogs are not kosher. Oh, I didn't know that. I'd have to look that up. Obese rats. Groundhogs aren't obese rats now. Be nice to groundhogs. Neither are hogs. No kind of hog. I just don't think about it. As long as after 10 hours of my drive time comes back, that's all I care about. That's true. I'm just curious why in the sleeper people would hit off duty. Paulie Walnut said to be a big fan of Aquanet. Yeah, boy, I missed that one. Most of my duty is off. Duty. A look at everything before Vatican II. Wow, that's getting into that. Hogs are filthy cannibals. You filthy cannibals. Most trucking companies that won't buy cameras for their trailers are too expensive. They're having a tough enough time for drivers crushing the trailer tails. Well, they wouldn't crush the trailer tails if they had a camera. How about a backup alert like cars have, which your Avalon, Cash King Trucking Avalon probably has that too. Okay, my car has that now, right? The escape backup alarm. As you back up to something, the alarm goes off. Same forward, side. It's actually 360, right? All the way around. It's got sensors. So it tells you when you're getting close to something. Why don't trucks have that? That'd be something useful, huh? Amazon uses straight trucks, right? And no other kind of trucks. No, Amazon is a one kind of truck only, which is not right, really. Here's the title of our video editing logs, adding and verifying logs in Geotab tutorial. All right, well, thank you for that. I was wondering, I thought, why can't the driver just go in and edit that since the company is saying, look, this is sleeper time. Why couldn't the driver just go back and edit that time to off-duty? When you open up a beer, you're off-duty. You better be off-duty. And I don't ever recommend that in your truck. So, home time only. My family's Christmas tree always went up on my brother's birthday, December 9th, and went down January 3rd. All right, so you're up early. Actually, the 9th late, right, up late. After Thanksgiving, day after Thanksgiving, you put the tree up. I guess to maybe burn off all the calories you just shoved in your pie hole. Giraffes are kosher. You chew on them without worry. Right, giraffe meat, all right. Seeing as how we don't get paid for either off-duty or sleeper berth, why does anybody care one is being logged? Well, I guess unless you're at Walmart. But I agree. I'm just curious why. I never even thought to put off-duty for sleeper time. Thought, oh, that's different than that. I would always log sleeper when you're in the sleeper. And I have logged a 34-hour break in the sleeper before at the truck stop. So I just never changed it the whole break, and nobody ever said anything. I wonder what the DOT would have said. They go, you've been in the sleeper the whole time? I'm like, yeah, I'm asleep a lot. Not GP Transco, good afternoon. It's good to see you. Hogs don't chew cud and therefore not kosher. All right. That's one way to look at it. YouTuber Just Trucking gave away a real nice tricked out Chevy truck. Then he was handing out $100 bills to random truckers. Right. Well, that's the way to do it. Well, he must be a big YouTuber. I'll tell you what. Or he got Chevy to give him the truck. That's pretty nice. That would be nice. I don't know how big that trucking channel is. Fleet Nav System drivers absolutely should be able to edit their time as long as it is an exemption or automatic driving log. Yeah, that's what I thought, right? Okay, so there's no reason the driver shouldn't be able to go back in and go, oh, okay, just a couple of clicks, and that log is edited back from sleeper berth to off-duty time. He's not editing any drive time. It really doesn't change the time of the log at all. The reason they don't have alarm sound 360 of the truck is drivers would be woken up in the middle of the night every time a switch driver is backing up near their truck. It doesn't work if you're stopped, at least on the car. As soon as the vehicle stops moving, the alarm stops going off, at least on my car. So when you stop, there's no more alert, unless something's coming at you, I guess. I don't know. Nobody's ever come at me that way. I'd have to see. You could just hit a button and turn it off. There's a dash button to turn it off, too. Had a lot of texting with Wild Bill last night. Maybe I cut into a sleeper berth time. Yeah, that's why he didn't get in today. There should only be two choices, paid and unpaid. No, there should be one choice, paid. How about that? If you're turning it on and logging into it, it should be paid. How about that? That's a different way to look at it. You hit the pay button and start getting paid. Then we're talking. Why hasn't someone figured out how to hack the logs or the governor on a truck? I'm sure people have figured that out. I'm sure the governor has been hacked for years. You could always go to the diesel doctor in Effingham. He was on the radio. And in a few minutes, he'd plug in the computer in your truck and change the governor of your truck. Turn those trucks up. Turn them up. Right. The diesel doctor. The logs, I don't know how you do that, but I'm sure some 13-year-olds probably figured out how to do it and charges people $100 or whatever each. At the top door mirrors are good to see if some crackhead or rioters hanging in the back of your truck. Yikes. I don't like the shape of that mirror on top of the door. I think it gives you a weird view of the lane next to you, and that can all be accomplished with the mirror on in front over the headlights. So I think I just didn't like it. So I just never used that one. I never got used to using it up there. Maybe if you started using it right away and, when you start driving, but once I got it, I'm like, I don't know. I looked at it. I'm like, this is not going to fit in for me. I was just doing on 271 in Cleveland, 41 degrees and no weather expected. DOT was putting beet juice on the road, only going down to 27. Well, what are we doing here? Do we just have an excess of beet juice this year? Oh, because the end of the year is coming up? We are not expecting any snow here in Lafayette through the end of the year. So they're going to be still salting the roads. There's not supposed to be anything going on. It's going to be 50 degrees on Friday. I just logged my 34-hour reset in sleeper earth sitting in a Walmart parking lot. Yeah, and I'm sure during some of that time you got out, maybe. I guess they could say, well, look, the time out or whatever, but you could say, look, I was in here the whole time. And for you, wow, you're like, look at all this food I got here. And they're like, did you have to take the dog outside? You go, don't worry, the dog doesn't have to log anything. Only I got a log. So the dog's not the one that's on the log book. It's 3 days to Festivus, by the way. Keep that in mind. So that's pretty nice coming up. The show, The Strike for Seinfeld, will be on Thursday. I have it set up to record, and I'll watch that over the weekend. That'll be pretty nice. The first class action against Central Freight is up so that people can get their 60 days of pay. That will be pretty good. Problem with log hacking, for everyone who does it, you can see that it's been done via the audit trail. Well, that's the idea of the hack, is that somehow you hack it so there's no audit trail, right? I mean, somebody is probably going to figure that out somehow so that it goes in there and you can't see the audit trail. That's what I think. They'll hack it somehow so that driving is sleeper or whatever. I don't know. I'm sure where there's a computer, there's some way to hack into it where somebody could change it, I think. Mid-America Truck Show tickets are available. So if you go to the Mid-America Truck Show site, just type it in. You can now order your tickets for the show at the end of March. So be sure to come out to the show in Louisville last weekend in March. Get your tickets free. You put in your information now. In March, at the beginning of March, they'd send you your tickets to your house. So even if you don't use them, it hasn't cost you anything. So if you even think you're going to go, be sure to order tickets in advance because starting March 1st, they're $10 each. So if you're going to go to the show, come on down and say hello, which all rhyme. That's pretty good. Right off the top, I'm like Eminem over here at this place, in this joint. I went to Sam's Club on Saturday and they didn't have hamburger, dill pickles in big jars or any mustard. Dang it. I will say I went to Meijer yesterday morning, and I was there right on the dot at 6 a.m. when they opened the doors, and it was busy. And there were a lot of people. I'm there every Sunday morning, usually between 6 and 7, usually closer to 7. But it was busy in there. So, yeah, if you're going to get any stuff, go in there and get it. Meijer is going to be closed on Christmas like a lot of stores. For those of you that do not live in the Midwest, Meijer is like a Walmart, but way better. So, all right, taking off for real now. For reals. Hope you have stay safe and have a great Christmas, and we'll see you later. All right, thanks, Fleet Nav Systems. I appreciate the answers to that, and enjoy the holiday. Turn your sidewalks on. It's going to start getting cold, so you can get them warmed up, and we'll see you soon. How about that? So, thanks for that. New Packers don't change settings like they used to. You have to have a program done at Peterbilt who makes changes in the file and then downloads it to the truck. Nice. I haven't listened for the diesel doctor in a while. Anytime there's a computer, there's a way to change it. You can do it for a car. I've seen these things on TV. They download the whole computer settings from the car and then re-upload a whole new map to the car. And then at some point you can change it back if you need to take it in. I assume you can do the same thing for a truck. DLD logs are still a federal document. Hacking and editing could get you into hot water. Of course. Oh, I know that. I mean, it could have always got you into hot water running 2 logbooks. I'm just saying people probably do it. Are they giving them out now? Yeah. Where's all these $100 bills being handed out? When you realize 2022 is 2020 times 2. Yeah, that's for sure. When are we going to get past all this? Dylan, how's Gracie? She's doing good. She's very tired. In fact, she's still sleeping over there. Yikes, that cat just sleeps and sleeps. Wanted to be a computer program, but I just couldn't hack it. Nice. Glitter Sparkle. Yeah, thanks for your time. Thanks for your time, Fleet Nav System, for coming in and answering that. I appreciate it. Giving up dill pickles would be kind of thing to do for humanity's sake. It would be. Let's give out. It's something. At least it's something. Don't go to Sam's Club. Just go to Costco. Get your wieners there. I don't have a Costco here. I'm not a Sam's Club member, and I don't have a Costco, so I can't do any of those. So I shop at Meijer. Why pay more? Meijer has around 170 stores in the Midwest. So usually Michigan, Illinois, Ohio. I don't know if they have any Kentucky. Maybe Kentucky, Illinois, Wisconsin. That's about it. If you own your truck, you can spend several $1,000s on truck books or diagnostics link and change all sorts of parameters. CPC module. Yeah, so I think, look, somebody must have paid the several $1,000s, and then if they charge people $100 to change these things, a number of times, they can start making money doing it, I think. And if you own the truck, it's probably worth getting something like that. That's way more than the car ones. You can get a car reader, code reader, and change all this kind of stuff for a lot less money, a couple $100 for the codes. Why does the manual insist on doing a complete physical before entering? Did you know the people that do those physicals before you go in there, they actually volunteer for it. So there's a waiting list to do the physicals. Yeah, that's pretty good. And they don't care what kind of medication you're on, believe me, down there. They don't do that. They don't do that kind of check on you, that's for sure. The West has winter weather. Oh, the podcast will go out on Friday this week. Somebody asked me about that. So absolutely. Georgia, I did that right. Oh, what was this one here? Oh, right. Okay, so the vaccine mandate, I'm sure you heard about this. The appeals court just said yes, that can go forward. So currently, that is going to be, I have a date here for January 4th. It will go into effect, but they have postponed that date to February. Here we go. All right, so they postponed it to February 9th is when testing goes into effect. Now, is that going to actually go into effect that day? I don't know. Check with your company. Okay, I think it's going to the Supreme Court now, so we'll just see where it goes at the Supreme Court level. So, but that's what they're saying now. Some appeals court approved it, but they postponed it because it's too close. Companies are saying 37% of drivers will quit or change jobs. I'm going to say 2% of drivers, which would actually quit or change jobs, but we'll see. Currently, February 9th now is a go, but this is going to go to the Supreme Court, and we'll see if it gets held up or goes through. My company hasn't said word one about it, which I thought was pretty interesting. They would be affected by it and haven't said anything about it. So I think they're waiting like a lot of these other companies are waiting. We'll see what they do. Also demand a tip, of course. I got to go send an email for that whiskey. How do you get that stuff? Glitter Sparkle, one more thing. I moved to Illinois, and it doesn't matter if you have a CDL already. They make you do everything over. What, just so they can get the money? I guess they could charge you the money anyways. And how much is a CDL in Illinois? I'm afraid to ask because I know your plates are cheaper. So I think they get you on the CDL, though, right? The manhole has an open door policy, that's for sure. Everybody comes in the back door, though. That's creepy that they volunteered for those physicals. A little bit. I mean, look, I kind of see it like people should volunteer. I think like volunteerism is a good thing. People should find a cause that they like and volunteer to do it, no matter what it is. So find something you like to do and do it for free. I met too many ASC certified and manufacturer certified techs that don't have a clue what they're doing with most of the diagnostic software. Aren't they trained? Isn't that how you get all those patches? I mean, Schneider drivers, it's not like Schneider drivers get a bunch of patches for free. So I thought the ASC people, when you're getting an oil change on your car and the person comes out and they're full of all these patches, I thought, wow, this is like the king of working on cars and they're doing oil changes. 100% should quit. 100% should quit, but they won't. They're saying 37% will quit. I'm saying 2% quit and go to a smaller place at the most. 1 to 2%. Anything with paws or claws, I'd love to see how Apple translated that one. They're not a kosher. Anything with paws or claws. More manhole mandates for the holidays. It just went through the appeals court. It went up another level, and 2 to 1 said, yes, okay, this can proceed. So then OSHA said, all right, February 9th, we're going to start enforcing testing. So that's where we are, almost 2 months. It still gives you time to go do it. See what your company says. They haven't said anything here. I'm really surprised, to be honest with you. They say stuff about everything. I'm surprised they didn't say anything about that because I think they're waiting. It's immediately went to the Supreme Court. Some people said, look, you need to review this. So we're waiting to see what the Supreme Court says at the moment. But as of right now, it stands. But there's another level. So we'll see what happens there. I find your belief system fascinating. It is fascinating. I thought there were a lot of volunteer work in trucking. Yeah, that's true. Drivers are already used to volunteering. So they should be used to volunteering somewhere, right? And that's our sponsor today, by the way. Brought to you today by the Human Fund. Right? Money for people. Since December 18th, 1997, the Human Fund was founded. And George Costanza remains the chairman of the Human Fund. So he says, money for people. And today a donation will be made in all of your names to the Human Fund. I heard truckers are exempt from the vaccine mandate because we're in the truck alone. Luke, well, that is, the ATA came out and said, look, they said the way we read it, that's what the ATA said, that people that are alone in the workplace are exempt. But drivers aren't really alone. That was the other side of it. It would only work in the exemption if you're alone. Meaning you don't interact with anyone. So if you ever have to go into your company's business to turn in paperwork or anything, you aren't alone. If you have to go into a shipper, you aren't alone. It could be required there. If you go in your business, it would be required. It was for people that work really alone, like you go fix a telephone pole and you never see anybody kind of thing. So it's tough to say, hey, are we exempted or not? Drivers aren't written in there specifically as exempted, just people that work alone. But drivers don't work 100% alone. So if this goes into effect and you go to deliver to, I don't know, someplace that's big, they would have a mandate in there and say, all right, there's a mandate in here. So now you have a problem. Your business, if your business otherwise qualifies, but they go, well, you're exempt. If you go in to turn in paperwork, you wouldn't be exempt. You'd have to be tested. So it's still up in the air. That's why we need this decided by a Supreme Court. It needs to be decided. It can't be on and off and on and off. They need to have a decision. And the decision, of course, should be no. The decision to get vaccinated is going to be your final decision. Either way, you're going to get stuck. Oh, very good. That's true. And it should still remain your decision. Brian Brock is late, so we can start over. Appreciate that. I seriously doubt a lot of drivers are going to give $100,000 a year over a vaccine and have a family to support. Kelly, exactly. That's the thing. They're saying 37% would quit and go somewhere else. I don't know. 1%, maybe 2%, maybe. Look, we got drivers now that instead of 100,000, make 45,000, sit half the time and don't get paid and do not quit. That's why I don't have a lot of hope that people would quit over this. which really costs virtually nothing to get if it comes down to that. So drivers will sit for all this time and not quit, but then this is the final straw. This is what it took. I mean, really? How about getting paid? What is up with the giant lumper fees? I don't know. The company pays them. So yeah, I've seen 700. People have sent me receipts for $700, $750. You know why? Because companies pay it. What they should do is go, no, we're not paying that. That's ridiculous. Companies, I always thought, ought to unload their own freight. I will say this, Cash is King Trucking, who I have a thing right here for, has a great video, which you'd have to go look up. I don't have the link to it, about why lumper fees are okay. And actually, it's a very good explanation, and I couldn't agree more with it. So it'd be worth checking that video out. Go back. It's been a little bit since you put that out. Go look at it. It's a great explanation of why expensive lumper fees are worth it. 15 minutes of warning Wiener time left. I've taken 2 of the 4 vaccine shots. Makes me practically... There's 4? Where's the 4th one? I thought there were 3. Did they add one today? I mean, really? I can't believe it. John Harper, you did right. Exactly. That's what you have to do with your butt. But when drivers will go out on the road and work for I saw just an ad guarantee of $960. You're going to make $960 a week, it said, for the first 12 weeks. Okay, that's not great. And then so much unpaid time. There are places where it's 4 hours before you get $12.50 an hour for detention. So in 5 hours, they give you $12.50, and they get people to come and work there. All right, you can make way more than that. McDonald's is $15 an hour here. All right, in that same 5 hours, you'd have made $75 and been home. So drivers will be out of their house and make $12 and be okay with it. That's why I don't have a lot of hope for this. And boycotting a state, well, you could only do that if you get to choose your loads. As a company driver, you can't be like, I'm not going to Colorado for even no matter how much you support that driver. So that's not just that kind of thing just won't happen. There's not enough owner-operators to just boycott. They would have to block the interstates like they do in overseas. You see that a lot over in Europe. The best part of the physical to enter the manhole is the manholes when they grab your testicles and tell you to cough. Well, that is part of the physical. I mean, let's be honest. Let's be medical here for a minute. We want to make sure that everybody is safe and has all the, testing and grabbing that is necessary to live a full and fulfilled life. Trucker boycott Colorado. Yeah, because of the 110-year sentence, there's supposed to be a trucker boycott in Colorado, but company drivers can't boycott a state. You go, I'm not going to Colorado because of this. The company's like, oh, yeah, you are. And you're like, oh, no, I am. And they're like, oh, yes, you are. And so eventually, after enough head bobbing, you go. And there's just not enough owner-operators to make a difference. Joan Harper, I was fired for not masking and getting the vax. I also asked if I was rehireable. And they said, well, we doubt it. Yeah, I think if you're fired, you pretty much are not rehireable. I think we can all agree with that. And yeah, right, you took a stand, and that's what companies do. That's what they do. And so eventually, if it comes down to it, most drivers are not going to do that, though. If it came down to it, I just don't see drivers doing it. I just don't. Not 37% of them. I guess you could change to another company. There's not that many large companies either. 96 or something % of companies have less than 100 people. So I guess you could just change to a smaller company. Most people work at a smaller place. The roads were closed in Colorado because high winds. No boycott. Yeah, I saw that picture. I think it was on TikTok. Somebody posted it. And I'm like, this is not because of a boycott. Somebody's adding this picture in here. I had a chance to be in charge of a biology lab. I turned it down. Didn't want to micromanage anything. Very nice. But Mark Heyman got fired from McDonald's for not wearing the mask. I do think, right, food service, I do still see that. The people at Burger King yesterday, because I get the wife Burger King on Sundays for breakfast, they were masked up at the drive-thru. So, yeah, that's right. The problem is, eventually, you're not going to be able to work anywhere. It just depends. You're going to have to start your own business. Do you think trucking will change when the virus gets worse next year, or do you think it'll stay the same? Oh, no, it'll just be the same. Because they'll just keep inventing new things. It'll get worse, they'll be worse, and then better. It's going to get where everybody's inside. So people get sick being inside, flu and stuff. There might be flu this year. Remember, we didn't have flu last year, so they might throw some flu into it this year. Yeah, but trucking, people have to eat no matter what. People got to eat, even if they're stuck in their house, right? People need toilet paper, which they had at Meijer yesterday. People need all their stuff still delivered. So they'll still always be trucking. As long as there's people, there's trucking. 100% of that. From my understanding, we're exempt because we're in the truck alone and we only interact with people when very little. For example, I only see 1 or 2 people a day on my deliveries. Exactly. But the thing is, you would be exempt per se in your truck, but the company that you're delivering to could have a mandate, which some drivers I'm seeing where they're being turned around at guard checks for not being vaccinated. They're not being allowed into properties. There's only a few of those at the moment, but that's going to grow. So depending where you go, you may not be allowed in the place where you're going. You also wouldn't be allowed in your business if the LTL place that you work for is big enough that they require you'd have to either be tested or not to go in the building. You're only exempt where you're alone. That's the problem. But even though it's on, it's going to the Supreme Court. So it's like only on right now. It's not like going into effect yet. The Supreme Court will have to rule on it. They have no choice, I think. But not an attorney, right? So, but the number of places immediately went to the Supreme Court. I'm sure they made a phone call and had somebody up there. Justy Palm, appreciate all you do, Mark. Keep up the good work. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Thanks for being here. Difficult for you to continue being a surgeon without a mask. That would be it. It would be hard. Surgeons, I think, pretty much they're okay with the mask mandate. Keith Chase, Merry Roller Wiener Monday. That's correct. Every Monday. Get your red and green wieners. I couldn't find a picture of one. I'm coming on late, Tin Rupp, but wonder if anyone has touched on the new restrictions with California emissions for in-state and out. I don't know that much about that. I did see you're going to have to test your trucks twice a year in California if you're registered in California. But I don't know about out-of-state trucks. Oh, anybody here registered in California? Look at your vaccine card. It has 6 blocks to fill in your records. Busted. Well, I did notice that. I saw the card and I thought, number one, why doesn't it fit in your wallet? Okay. I read about it and I thought, okay, so it's too big. It has to be folded. Stupidest thing. But then I thought, there's a bunch of extra blocks in here. They already knew printing the cards that they're going to have all these extra things that they're going to make you get later. So there are extra spots on it. That's true. It has more spots than like my vaccine card for my life when I was getting TB shots and stuff as a kid. You know, when they used to give them to you at school, which people don't remember. We used to get this thing at school. Can I choose my load at the manhole? Cafe Racer. Depends which room you go into. Some are choice and some says no choice on it. So it depends which door you want. Some doors you get a prize and some doors you get a zonk. The 4 shots are from 2 different makers. The 3rd shot is a booster. Really? Oh, I see. So some people are on their 4th shot. I'm only on 2. Yikes. I'm behind. I thought I ordered my DAC report, but I haven't gotten it yet. John Harper, I thought you got it instantly. Do you not go on and get it like emailed to you right away? I thought that's how it worked, to be honest with you. I thought the Mike's brother was born with only 1 testicle. We knew from the beginning it was half nuts. Nice. For Christmas, do they hang wieners on the tree at the manhole? They do. They do. Some people object to it, but they just hold them down and still do it. So, CRST deserves a satirical play on Broadway. Oh my gosh, CRST the musical. Can you see that? Oh, I want to play somebody in that. I believe in private fleets because that's how I got my big break at healthcare transportation. Freight, Foxmeyer Pharmaceuticals in Carrollton, Texas, my favorite gig. Yeah, always private fleet. I think that a lot of people do better at private fleets. People like it, and it does better. You're only hauling your own stuff. Isn't that great? You'll probably stay there. Pigpen, goodness, Merry Christmas. I appreciate it. Goodness, thank you very much, Pigpen. I see your special will be on here soon. Soon vaccine shots will be like 12 days of Christmas. I know. I mean, 4. I'm thinking 4. I'm just on Omicron or what? Isn't that 3? Were there 2 more before that? Lumpers love the manhole. Yeah, they charge a lot there. Thanks for the tip, George. I don't like Spam or McDonald's. You're weird. Both of those are delicious. I wish they had a Spam Big Mac. I mean, that would just be like the best. Joan Harper, I'm not sure. I just thought it was electronic. Has anybody ordered your DAC lately? I thought you got it instantly. You got an instant DAC, Insta DAC, basically, that it got emailed to you right away for free. If you want to be blown away with facts about COVID, listen to Joe Rogan's interview with Dr. Peter McCullough. Sorry for the plug. Yeah, that's all right, Joe Rogan. Like he needs the plug or whatever. But yeah, absolutely, Joe Rogan. He had the what's his face from CNN on there and stuff. Yeah, absolutely, right. Joe Rogan, good podcast, right? Do you think if U.S. Express came up with a trucking company called Pandemic, they would come up with a new variant? They just fired the head the head of variant, right, over at that place. Somebody said, look, U.S. Express is going to go away and just become variant, but that's not what U.S. Express says. They said they're just going to be two separate units all the way, so I don't know about that. Pigpen used to tour with the Grateful Dead, but he died. That's too bad. That's too bad. I mean, they were the best. Certainly, for something like this, we need them at this time. Diesel, by the way, averaged 364. It's down again. And they're going to release part 2 from the strategic reserve. So we should have that getting into the system by the next couple of weeks. They said more strategic reserves coming out. So gas should go down another 7 cents. Whatever. It's only up 52% in a year. So not terrible, right? Glad they don't count gas in the inflation rate, which they don't. Consumer price index does not include gasoline. Isn't that great? Because, hey, who needs to buy gas? What is the top 3 worst companies to work for? C, R, and S, and T. Okay. Generally, any place that brings pizza to a truck school is not a place you want to go work for. Usually that's how it works. And CRST and all these places you'd only have to type into the internet 3 seconds to find out this is not a place you want to go. You replace your DAC and get it in a couple days. Oh, I kind of thought you got it instantly. Why can't they give it to you emailed instantly? Since they're sending it to your house anyways. You cannot be fired for claiming a religious exemption, another Festivus miracle. It is a miracle. Yeah, I don't know why people aren't doing that too. Maybe they will. I know we have a couple of drivers here that are going to do that because not everybody here has it either. And they said, look, that comes down to it. We'll file an exemption, a religious exemption, and we'll see what they do with it. They'll have to honor that kind of thing. I think there'll be lawsuits flying everywhere. I think it's going to be a big problem. 7 cents. Let's go, Brandon. Absolutely. Yeah, it is a Festivus miracle. Where did that go to? From our company sponsor right there. Also sponsored today by the Human Fund, right? Money for people. The Human Fund has been in business since December 18th, 1997. George Costanza is their chairman. So, over at the Human Fund. And that's how that went over there. Anyone seen Toto in Kentucky? Toto? The band Toto? I don't think so. The West has winter storms. We're at 364. And where did I go on that? Oh, right. Okay, so the last thing in Florida. Another crash, 35 vehicles, most of them semis. 11 people were injured. As winter comes on and stuff, and this was not the problem in Florida, can we space out a little bit? Of those 35 vehicles, a bunch of them were semis. Why are we running into each other when an accident happens? Why does everyone have to follow, a foot behind the next person? Can we space it out a little bit? I don't know what the speed limit is in Florida, probably at least 70, maybe more, maybe 75 on the pike across there or whatever. Space it out a little bit. Trucks are stopping, everybody's smashing into everybody, and the road's closed for like 5 hours while they pick all these trucks up and make all these stupid pictures of, drivers trucks are smashed all over the place. It looks terrible, and nobody gets a ticket. The police are like, we're investigating. How about everybody gets a ticket for following too close or going too fast for conditions? I was not given that choice. I put in writing in a text message to my dispatcher, the one that fired me. I know you can go online, and there are attorneys that have put out there how to file for a religious exemption, because apparently there's certain words you should use, and I don't know how to word it exactly because I don't work for the FMCSA field office, but there are attorneys seriously that have put out the exact way that here you write it out exactly these 2 paragraphs or whatever and send it in, kind of thing for religious exemption. I know there's a way to do it that people have put in there. So I want to thank the sponsor, the Human Fund, for sponsoring today's show. We appreciate that very much. I want to thank GP Transco for being here and just being a great company all year, like they do each year. So I very much appreciate that. We can talk about Smith Transport too on here today. Maybe giving a raise over there. We're going to see how that works before I announce some raise. I want to thank Fleet Nav Systems for coming in every day and saying hello and answering the questions. Go check out that video of Cassius King Trucking about lumpers and all the other videos that he puts out. Pretty interesting. Jay knows about cars and I don't. I don't know anything about cars, so maybe we could talk to Jay about cars. But I do have to head out to see what work is doing. They'll want us to come in. Paid holiday for me, and I hope for you on the weekend. And New Year's also a paid holiday, which is pretty nice. So we get a day's pay for that. And this year, the best year for it because it's on a weekend. So you get the week's pay plus get a paid weekend day. So because we get the paid holiday whether you work or not. I don't think there'll be any work on Saturday. I just don't see it, really. The three main religious say it's okay to get the vaccine, Gustavo. Well, look, I would never argue with people's religious beliefs. That's the whole beauty of the country, right? So if someone has a belief that's a religious belief, it's okay with me. I don't think you should have to get it anyways, personally. So because the religion says it, that's between them and their religion to me. So I always let people believe whatever they want to believe. That's how the country's supposed to work, I think. And so I know if their religion, that's for them to argue with their religious people and not for me, certainly. People can believe whatever they want, I think. GP Transco, thank you, Mark. Well, thank you for, for the emails I get on this is true, right? And GP Transco doesn't pay me for this or anything, but I do get emails constantly from people at GP Transco that say the place is great, that it is exactly like they say. And I encourage everyone to give them a call. Okay, and really, if you're thinking about a place that you want to go work, that would be the place to go. I'll fight for your right to choose it or not. I do them, but hey, right, exactly. Your choice. That's all I'm asking for the country to be free. That's simple. Hey, you decide, I'll decide. We can all be friends. It's okay with me. Health insurance companies look at you to deny coverage if you get COVID. I do agree with that. They're doing that here. What they're saying here now is if you are not vaccinated and you get the COVIDs, they will not pay you. Currently, you get 2 weeks of pay, 10 days, right? 2 weeks off, and you're paid. But if you're not vaccinated, you will not be paid. So that's how they're doing it here. They didn't raise the insurance, but they're saying they won't pay you anymore if you have not been fully vaccinated here. So, and I would say that's a private company. Meaning not government. And so they could choose to do that or whatever. And then it would be your choice. Right. So it's interesting way to do it and say, well, you don't have to get it, but then we're not going to pay you. And I think they'd have a good argument to say, well, we don't have to pay people. We don't have to pay them because we're private. Wish cops are way more aggressive in ticketing tailgaters. Oh my gosh. I see people a foot behind trucks and cars. Really? That's what they should ticket. It's way easier to prove, I think, speeding. That's why they do it. But I think the tailgaters are what they should go out and ticket. Speeding is easier because they can get you from 3 miles away with their laser beams or whatever. But the tailgating, that's where they should be out getting people. Tailgating at any speed, ticket. Instant ticket. And you wouldn't have 35. There should never be a 35 vehicle pileup ever. Okay, if you have to be 500 feet behind the person in front of you because it's all icy, that's how far you have to be. You shouldn't be close enough where you hit somebody if they stop in front of you. I think all those people should be ticketed, every last one of them, for following too closely, which is a major violation on a CDL. That is a major ticket, and that's why I think people should get that ticket, and it would get people slowing down. There's really no reason for it. Really just isn't any reason for it. There'll be a lot of people out driving on Christmas that don't normally drive. Christmas Eve and that'll be even worse. Yikes. Captain Flatbed, hello and goodbye. As we head out and I go see what's happening at work, Kelly was here today, and I appreciate it. Thank you for being here. Aviator Trucker was here today. Thank you. Busted Wallet Garage. I Heart Cryptoverse was in the house. GP Transco, thank you for being here today. Chris was here today. Let's see. Trucker Hershey. Joan Harper, thank you for being here. Keep me updated on that, on how that goes. Whenever you get that in, because people do ask about that a lot. John Donald, thank you for being here. Roger Penske, get your winter coat. I hope you brought one with you. You're going to need it up there, and get back down south where you belong. That's where we all belong, really, to be honest with you. Pigpen, thank you for being here today. And so I'm going to head on out to see what they're doing over there. John M., thank you for being here. I hope everybody gets paid for Saturday, too. I would like to see that. Not everybody does, I know it. Working on it. Luke 123 was here. Donald Sloan was here. So let's see. Jesse Palm. Oh, so I had a lot of people here today. Drew Braska, right? So that was what we're doing on that one. Let's see. And I'm going up here, but Flat Highway was here. Joe was here. Let's see where I am. Oh, right. Joan Hodson Donald was here, but I have to head on out. Let's see. Where's this thing? Over here. Oh, right there. And there'll be more videos coming out that podcast Tuesday and Friday if you'd like to download it to your favorite podcast player. And so that will be out both of those days, and we'll be back, shortly with another video, of course. Be safe out there this week, and we'll see you on the next one.